watching the American on ESPN. Homecoming in Greenville, where the ECU Pirates' 40,000 fans are daring to dream about a place this program hasn't seen in 16 years, a conference championship. First-year head coach Blake Harrell has the Pirates in a logjam of 5 teams at the top of the American with only 1 loss. But today, the Charlotte 49ers will try to stand in their way. The American Conference title chase enters the home stretch next. And welcome inside Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium, a college football experience with very few peers. Patrick Heenis alongside former Penn State Nittany Lion Reginald Walker Jr. Savannah Collins is down on the sideline. And Reggie, let's talk about ECU, one of the highest tempoed offenses in the country. Caden Hauser, their quarterback, lethal efficiency and a very quick release. What makes him the right fit?
Well, I think the main key is he's finally comfortable in this offense. You're talking about a guy who basically took over as the starting quarterback around this point last year, maybe a little bit earlier. So a little bit more than a full year as the starter. And what I love about him is his ability to understand the situation. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes, makes the right decisions in terms of where to go with the football. And the most important thing, when they get into their tempo, he makes sure everybody's lined up. You don't see a lot of pre-snap penalties from this offense. On the other side of things, Grayson Loftus for Charlotte, he's a quarterback that he didn't expect to be the guy at this point in the season. Connor Harrell was the starter at the beginning of the season. He's out for the year with an injury, so now Grayson Loftus steps in. He continues to improve. He's kind of taken that job from Wilkie, his counterpart at that position. The big key for this offense in a game like today is stay ahead of the chains because this is a difficult defense.
All right, talk about a difficult defense. It's a dynamic defense. Tops in the league for ECU. And Savannah, we had a chance to talk with Josh Arledge earlier in the week about what makes this defense for ECU so tough. What did he say?
Well, it's the fact that they have so much depth. There's not a lot of difference between the 1s and 2s, which means they play hard because Coach Aldridge can roll them in and out, especially up front. In fact, he even told us that sometimes that can be better than having a superstar because it makes them so competitive to try and earn that starting spot. Today, they're focused on starting fast, 3-and-outs early in the game, and eliminating those chunk and explosive plays. Hey, they play with a chip on their shoulder, and they want to give this homecoming crowd a show.
All right, so there's a look at the first-year head coach of ECU, Blake Harrell, who grew up in Western North Carolina 21 years ago. He's a high school coach at Fuquay Arena. Said it was a pipe dream that he would become a college head coach, but here he is after a terrific run as the interim last year for the Pirates. On the other side, Tim Albin, native of Woodward, Oklahoma, took the Ohio Bobcats to their first MAC championship in 56 years last year and then departed to Charlotte. It's been a struggle, a lot of transfers, a lot of new faces, and they're 1-7, 0-5 in the league coming in. But they won the 2 matchups between ECU and the 49ers. As these teams 250 miles apart, it's kind of a nascent rivalry. The league would certainly love it to become a rivalry. And it's a homecoming crowd, big day here in Greenville. And Reggie, it's about 75 degrees and sunny in mid-November.
It's perfect outside. The conditions are excellent. And something to keep an eye on this game, this phase of the game right here. Special teams, Charlotte amongst the best in many of the categories, the key categories in the country on special teams. Something to keep an eye on. Can they win the special teams game today? With the short kickoff there, we'll see how this ECU offense gets started.
All right, so there is a look at Caden Hauser, 10-5 as a starting quarterback for ECU. When you talk about analytics, there you see the numbers. 2,200 yards passing, 16 touchdowns responsible for, but his release has gotten so much quicker and the accuracy has become even better from where it was in the back half of last year. Hauser will run the show for ECU. And on first down, pass to the sideline, brought in right around the 40-yard line. Pickup of 5 as Brock Spalding brings in the first pass of the day.
Yeah, one of the first things you're going to have to understand with Coach J.D. Baker, John David Baker, the offensive coordinator for ECU, how to deal with all the formations they're going to give you. They come out first play of the game, they go empty, spreads you out completely horizontally across the field, and then start attacking. Have to stay home, read your keys, and properly execute defensively against this offense.
Now the real key for the Charlotte defense, they said if they won the toss, they wanted to defer and put their defense on the field. That's going to be the big early game question. They're coming off of a bye week. It's been 15 days between that debacle against North Texas. We saw the Charlotte defense just shredded for over 600 yards in passing as we get an injured 49er on the second play from scrimmage that will halt action here for a moment. But they do get J.Q. Conley back in their defensive backfield, and they think that they may have a better opportunity to slow down this ECU offense.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, that looks like Jalen Johnson, number 24, that's down. And look, this defensive line, they've had its share of injuries, including Maceo Williams, a defensive lineman who's out for the year. DJ Burgess, a guy who they expected to be a key to this defense as well in the front, out for the year as well. So really a lot of injuries early in the season with this group. And you see Jalen Johnson right in the middle of the frame right there. He gets a piece of the tackle there. Not quite sure what happened. Kind of lands tough on that left elbow. Ooh, might have taken a shot in the head there just with the pile. So you hope he's okay. Not quite sure, obviously, what the injury is, but Jalen Johnson amongst a host of defensive linemen. We'll see. They go about 8 or 9 deep in that group. Obviously, if he's unable to return in this game or give them a plethora of snaps, that rotation shrinks, and that could affect them in the fourth quarter.
Nate Faunus, the defensive coordinator, said earlier in the week, we are really thin. They have restructured the way that their practices have been conducted over the last 7, 8, 9 days to allow guys to rest up, to heal up, but they're very thin, particularly on the defensive side. As Johnson, who transferred into the program back in the spring from Northwest Mississippi, is still being attended to around the 45-yard line. So it'll be a 3rd and 1 as they take care. Dowdy Ficklin Stadium still filling in. Tailgate began hours ago. Good news for Charlotte, walking off under his own power, Jalen Johnson. So they're tending to him in the injury tent. We'll get an update from Savannah, we hope, here momentarily. There's a look at Dowdy Ficklin. I mean, they were tailgating 8:30, 9 o'clock this morning. By the way, it's a Saturday home game for ECU, which normally has been the rule of thumb for years and years. Not the case this year, but this is what Pirate football, it makes it so special on the weekend here in Greenville.
I'm going to disagree. They've been tailgating since about Tuesday.
So back to action about a minute into the game. 3rd and 1 for ECU, and they run toward the line of scrimmage, and the Charlotte defense is going to get a stop here.
Yeah, Jaquarius Conley, number 6, the safety, comes flying off that left edge of the defense, the right side of the offensive line. The Serial Rouse, the tight end number 6 there, he blocks down, and Conley comes right off of his block and makes the play in the backfield. Very well done. And ECU staying aggressive. They go for it here on 4th down.
They're going to go 7 of 20 this year on 4th down. The Charlotte defense, can they get a stop that they need? On 4th down, keeper straight ahead. That'll be enough. Hauser to about midfield, needed 1, picks up 4.
Players got to play, but that's all J.D. Baker with the design, the movement, and the shift. Had the defense confused. They never got lined up. And what do you get? A quarterback draw for a 1st down.
Now quickly, here is the tempo. We will see Hauser, though, is plowed down back of the 40. An 8-yard loss on a sack by the Charlotte 49ers. Jarrell Liverpool out of Brooklyn, New York, transferred in from Wagner. We'll hear a lot of transfers where they all came from. 57 new guys in the Charlotte team. That's a big sack right there for the 49ers.
Liverpool is like the picture of a defensive end. 6'6 and a half, about 260 pounds, long arms, and speed off the edge. That's a big-time play.
It's on the 10th sack of the year for the 49ers. They play to the sideline, one-on-one coverage. Reception is made. First catch today for Anthony Smith.
And that's something to keep an eye on. This group, this wide receiver group for ECU against the secondary of Charlotte, I think ECU, their pass catchers in particular, tight ends and wide receivers, certainly the strength of this offense against the secondary in Charlotte that has had its struggles at times this season.
4 to go on 3rd down as the Pirates nuzzle into plus territory. Hauser, the give left side. And Montgomery trying to squeeze through, does, takes the hit, gets plowed forward. That's enough for a 1st down. Hard run by Landon Montgomery to move the chains.
Yeah, and that's the tough part. This Charlotte team, they've got to do a better job. At times, tackling is their issue. Caleb Irving had a shot on Montgomery there, wasn't able to get him down, and Montgomery picks up that 1st down.
From the 39, quick pass again to the sideline. And the second reception made in the last 3 plays by Smith.
Yeah, Dwight Boodle is playing off coverage or soft coverage, if you will, against Smith. So he's giving him room. Smith's just running hitch routes, stop routes, quick catches, easy yardage.
That is 6 on 1st down. That's the stat that we will track over the course of the day. The Pirates averaging about 6.5 on 1st down this year. Hauser again with the man and some space. A little juggle as he stepped in the sideline. 3rd reception already for Anthony Smith.
Again, it's off coverage. He's got soft coverage out there. So what does he do? He just runs a little curl route, a little stop route, comes back to the football, makes the grab. He stepped out before he nearly lost control of the football there. So again, if Boodle is going to continue to give him off coverage, they're going to continue to take whatever yardage he's willing to give up in this short passing game.
J.D. Baker exposing it right now. That soft coverage by Boodle. We'll see if Nate Fon as the DC for the 49ers shores things up. 1st down for ECU at the 21. Hauser over the middle and off of the fingertips. Incomplete. Looking for Brock Spalding.
That's a really good read that time by Caden Hauser. He wanted to come out to the left, maybe go toward the end zone, came back to the crossing route that was Brock Spalding. I think he's got to lead him a little more across the field, give him a chance to make that catch, and it's probably a walk-in for a touchdown.
2nd and 10. Spalding comes in motion. And Hauser, timing play to the backcourt. A lot of holding there. The flag does come in. Pass was overthrown, but some jousting right there. That again was Dwight Boodle on the coverage, and he just would not let that jersey go.
Well, again, now finally they get what they've been looking for. They get the tight man coverage opportunity, so they attack it vertically up the field. This is the right read, and they get the pass interference call, or holding likely in this particular situation. It'll be one of the 2.
Prior to the pass, holding. Defense, number 11. 10-yard penalty, Automatic first down.
Steven Anderson, our referee, Boodle protesting. Easiest call of the day right here.
You see it when I'm seeing he's playing press coverage, tight coverage there, and then he's worried about getting beat over the top, so he just reaches out and grabs. That's a great job recognizing the coverage that time by Hauser and attacking it vertically.
Looked like a broken play. Hauser takes it down inside the 10-yard line. By the way, for a 1-7 team as Charlotte is, that was only the 10th defensive penalty the 49ers have had against them all year.
Yeah, they do a nice job by and large defensively. And if you actually look at this football team, you can see certain aspects of them defensively where they're improving, and they've shown that throughout the season, just unable to consistently get off the field, particularly on third down.
Montgomery untouched to the end zone. And ECU strikes first and strikes fast, as they often do. Fifth rushing touchdown by London Montgomery. And less than 5 minutes in, the Pirates on top. The drive that saw ECU convert on a 4th down and a 3rd down, and the payoff with Landon Montgomery. And for the extra point, Nick Mazie. As a matter of fact, the American Conference kickers have only missed 1 extra point all year between all of them in over 400 attempts. Mazie stays clean.
London Montgomery just working up the middle of the field, goes off of Poku's block, walks into the end zone. Pirates lead 7-0.
As we mentioned, these schools separated by about 250 miles, but this is only the 3rd time that they meet since Charlotte joined the American 2 years ago. They came here, held ECU to only a touchdown, and won 10-7. And then what about last year? Was the revenge? Not a chance. Charlotte hung 55 points on the ECU Pirates. We talked with Blake Harrell earlier in the week, and he said that's the game that got everybody fired, because Mike Houston was let go. Harrell became the interim 14 days later, and then ECU was able to turn things around, and he was named officially the head coach before they knocked off NC State in the bowl game last year.
Yeah, Charlotte ran for over 300 yards in that game last year, also had a defensive touchdown, a dominant performance for the 49ers in that one, a big-time performance, and it really, I think, added the fuel that this rivalry, if you will, needed. Anytime you get beat like that, it leaves a sour taste in your mouth.
The quarterback who hung 55 on the Pirates is now at Wake Forest. They have a big game tonight against Virginia. That was Deshaun Purdy. So 3 inbound quarterbacks came to this program, and we'll see Loftus here take the field for the first time today after this kickoff return. The kickoff coverage needs to be good today for the Pirates because Ely is one of the best in the country in terms of kickoff returns. And here is Grayson Loftus, who overtook the starting job when Connor Harrell went down. He's a Duke transfer, made a couple of starts for the Blue Devils. What's his game look like?
Really got comfortable against North Texas. He's got the ability to make all the throws. Sometimes he's a thinker and kind of stares down what he thinks the coverage might be. He's got to do a better job of gripping it and letting it rip and just trusting his eyes, and he's got a chance to have success as the quarterback.
Loftus is throwing for about 770 yards, 50% clip, 5 touchdowns. And Charlotte will need to shrink the game, and can they matriculate down the field and shorten the number of possessions we see today? Pressure comes on the opening play as they come very attacking. ECU got in the backfield quickly. That is Zion Wilson with the pressure.
Yeah, Zion Wilson's really been really good for this football team lately. Grayson Loftus barely gets outside of the pocket, throws that football away to avoid an intentional grounding call there, but this offensive line has to hold up, particularly up the middle. Dallas Shirley at the center spot, Mo Clipper and Mason Bowers, those guards, they've got to be the key in this football game.
When ECU took down Temple last week, they came out high pressure right from the outset. A lot of different blitz packages in the first several possessions for the Owls. That disrupted Temple's offense. And this will now be a 3rd down and 10. And Charlotte has not moved it an inch yet to place.
And this is exactly where you don't want to be, obviously, if you're Charlotte. You've got an offensive line that's been banged up throughout the season. You don't have your senior captain at center in Johnny King. And now all of a sudden a defense that's known for creating negative plays gets a chance to tee off on 3rd and long.
Their big 3 receivers, Javen Nicholas, E.J. Mason, Sean Brown. 3rd and 10. Pressure coming. Loftus can't escape. Taken down in the backfield by ECU. And it's a 3 and out for the Charlotte 49ers on their first crack against the Pirates.
Yeah, Josh Benton looked like came on a little bit of a delayed blitz, and he's the one that's able to come in and make that play. You'll see it from the right-hand side. They come with a little twist inside, and then a delayed blitz with Benton off the edge, number 23. He's able to get there. It's really well conceived. Number 35 on the inside there, the linebacker, forces the step up. Kieran Davis forces the step up. Should say defensive end. Davis, he forces the step up, and that's where they're able to create the sack.
And somehow Kyler Pearson came out of there after he took a couple of hits. Broke free, and this ECU drive will start right at midfield. A perfect start for the Pirates. Up a touchdown. Here's a look at the upper echelon of the American Conference standings. We mentioned the top, Reggie, 5 one-loss teams. A lot of tiebreakers that we'll be working through the next few weeks, but ECU trying to get into that group at 4-1. Navy right now sitting 5-1.
Conspicuous by its absence, Memphis, who lost last night at home to Tulane, now a 2-loss team in conference play. That's why they're not shown there. East Carolina with an opportunity, everything in front of them. They went out, they got a chance to play for a conference championship.
So ECU's second drive, they went 12 plays, 65 yards for a score, had to convert 1-4 down. Anthony Smith had 3 catches. Here's his first of this drive as he dances toward the sideline, and he'll pick up about 9+ on first down. And our first in-game hit down on the sideline, Savannah Collins.
Well, Jalen Johnson, who went down early in the game on the Charlotte defense, has exited the sideline. He headed off to the locker room and just added to the laundry list of injuries that Charlotte has faced this season. 16 players made their first start at an NCAA school for this team this season. 10 made their first start at any level of college football this year. So they've really had to take on a next man up mentality.
Reggie, the Pirates are really going after Boodle defensively. Their 5th target with Anthony Smith. Penalty marker did come in, but Smith went to the sideline, kind of shaking out that right hand.
Ball placed in the spot of the foul. Automatic
second defensive penalty against the 49ers.
And you mentioned Smith going to the sideline. Yeah, it's going to be the next man up there, too. Probably looks like maybe a situation where maybe he just jammed that finger or something to that effect. I expect to see him back relatively quickly.
Already 4 catches for 41 yards for Anthony Smith, but he's to the sideline. Athletic training staff taking a look. 2nd and 10 for the Pirates from the 30. They go opposite. Spalding jukes and is thrust out of bounds after a pickup of about 4. The stop by J.Q. Conley, who's back after a minor injury costing the game.
Yeah, they had 2 receivers stacked out to the left, including Brock Spalding. They release up the field. Spalding doesn't move, just stands there, makes a catch right at the line of scrimmage. Charlotte's going to show you a lot of different things in the back end. They'll show you 2 high safety looks. They'll show you single high safety looks. And processing what they turn into at the snap of the ball is going to be key for Hauser.
And looked like there was some miscommunication right there on that play. Broken up, and a second sack technically for the 49ers.
Shea Taylor, number 30.
About 6.
Yeah, Shea Taylor, number 35, came on the blitz there and created all kinds of havoc, and he's there to set up the situation to get the sack. So it's well conceived. Nick Fanis, defensive coordinator of Charlotte, listen, if he had it his way, he would send pressure every single snap.
3rd down and about 11. Action on that line. Rushing only 3 of the 49ers. Penalty marker is down. Hauser over the middle at the 20. Connects. And that's going to be very close to the sticks. But a marker was thrown back in the offensive area. This holds up. Is going against the Pirates.
I think he should have attacked this thing vertically. He had a free play. I would have went after the end zone there with Yannick Smith, number 1, out to the right. Obviously had to check it
Outside.
down.
Defense, number 32. The penalties decline. Result of the play, 1st down.
It's Curtis Simpson, the North Carolina transfer, 3rd defensive penalty, and a big one here for the 49ers.
You see it right there at the top of the screen. He couldn't stop himself. It's just really that simple that time for Curtis Simpson.
Hauser looks away, throws to Montgomery. A lot of room for Montgomery to the 10. Lowers that left shoulder in the boom. It'll be goal to go for the Pirates.
In little things, recognition, right? Montgomery runs right across the face of Jarrell Liverpool, number 10, the defensive end, and that's the guy that ends up with the football.
When Hauser again tripped up as he faked off to Montgomery. Lost a couple of yards for the Pirates. 2nd and goal. That's Randy Franklin out of E. Smith High School in Fayetteville, cutting him down.
Nice job by Franklin that time, recognizing, getting downhill from that safety spot. And now ECU will slow down their tempo just a little bit, make sure they get exactly what they want from Coach J.D. Baker. Now watch them, they'll get up to the line and snap it pretty quickly here.
2nd and goal, tight formation. Hauser keeps it, swings out, juggled, and dropped incomplete. Looking right there for Javante Connor. Turned his head a little bit upfield before he secured the football. 3rd and goal.
And Connor at that tight end position, he and Desiree Riles, number 6. I think that might be arguably the best unit, right? The best room on this offense. Those two tight ends, very, very talented. And they continue to make plays. And if they continue to do that for this team, it makes them that much more dangerous coming down the stretch offensively.
Marlon Gunn now in the backfield on 3rd and goal, takes the carry, gets down to the 5.
That felt like a play call that said they're going for it on 4th down. The physicality of Marlon Gunn. Guess they're not. Color me incorrect there. That just felt like, being conservative to go for maybe a 4th down situation there. Perhaps if he'd gotten inside the 5, it might be a little bit different, but they're going to go ahead and kick it here.
All right, so here is Nick Mazie, transferred in from the University of New Hampshire, spent 3 years there. All-conference kicker. Mazie's had a terrific year for the Pirates, 9 of 11 in field goals. This will be from 24. An early start, though, by a 49er, and the play is dead. Well, Dwight Boodle is having a forgettable opening quarter. Called for 2 defensive penalties on holds, and he started about 3 weeks early before that snap on that field goal try.
Offside. Defense, number 11.
And now it looks like ECU may change its decision on what they're going to do. It's still 4th down, but they're going to move the football down to the 3. And the field goal unit team has gone back to the sideline.
Yeah, Coach Blake Harrell, he knew it. Yep, he knew it. As soon as they got the penalty, he's like, offense.
So here comes Hauser.
He's so aggressive, right? It's the aggressive nature, and he feels like the way his defense played on that first drive and the way they've been playing the last couple of games, he's okay. Even if they don't get this, he puts his defense out there with a chance to flip the field at worst.
Gunn still in the backfield, 4th and goal for the Pirates. Going for the big shot early. Hauser flushed, back in the end zone, caught, touchdown, 4th down. Anthony Smith back in from the sideline. The hand is fine. 5 catches in the first quarter for Smith, and the Pirates a double lightning bolt in this opening quarter, up 13. Unforced mental error of Boodle on that offsides on the field goal try breathes new life and an aggressive mindset by J.D. Baker and the Pirates and Coach Harrell. And when you are winless in the league and you're giving free points to a one-loss team like ECU, it's a definite.
Great design on the touchdown by offensive coordinator J.D. Baker. You get a motion across, and then Smith is just going to come across the end zone, what you'd call kind of like an over route, right? So he works up the field into the end zone, but he's at the front of the end zone. And by the time he was going to end this route, he'd be at the back pylon on the other side. So just a little over route. He's outrunning the defender. Caton Hauser reads it properly and drops it in there for a touchdown. Very well executed by Caton Hauser in this offense.
Well, Anthony Smith has been the targeted man, went to the sideline briefly. That touchdown reception when he returns. Savannah has more on Anthony.
Not only is he the target, but he is the energizer bunny of this team. Coach J.D. Baker told us that in the spring they wear a GPS to track their movement, and Anthony would have 2,000 more yards than anybody else. They said this must be an error. There's just no way. But he gets yards because he can't stand still, loves the ball, infectious smile, and the portal has benefited him being in this transfer portal coming to ECU, and he's a target just like we saw.
Now the 49ers, Ian Spark, marker down on this kickoff by the Pirates. Healy couldn't get loose. He's a very dangerous man on the special teams. There's a look at Smith, who already in this first quarter, 5 receptions, 44 yards. They've targeted him 6 times already.
Yeah, Smith is their guy in the passing game. Anthony, that is, number 9. You'll see Yannick Smith get involved as well, number 1, but Anthony Smith going to get plenty of opportunities.
A discussion with Steven Anderson and company.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 81. Half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
We talked with Tim Alvin earlier in the week about how his staff and how his players kind of best utilize the 15 days after the North Texas game to now. You don't expect a lot of these mistakes, and many of these, Reggie, so far are mental mistakes by the 49ers, and already they're painted into a corner 10 minutes into this opening quarter. And this drive begins from the 5, and nowhere to go on first down. Jariel Cobb is making his second career start, a true freshman from Reedsville High School here in North Carolina. They've had a lot of issues holding on with ball security by their backs. They've gone down the line. The freshman Cobb gets the start today.
How about this defense and what they've already done? Look at the scoring margin in the first quarter this season. ECU plus 49, Charlotte minus 45. Right now, Charlotte just looking to get positive yards on first down against this ECU defense.
Loftus harassed in his end zone, tosses out, and that is Cobb out of the backfield beyond the 10, so a little bit of breathing room now for Grayson Loftus, the 49ers, although facing a third down play.
That's a nice job that time, just moving Grayson Loftus off the spot, making it a little harder for him to find, getting Cobb out in the flat to just give him an easy completion, something he can see and get to a manageable 3rd and 5 here.
We'll see if ECU brings some pressure here. Well, just past the 10-yard line, 3rd down for Charlotte, already down by 14. See some confusion on the offensive line for the 49ers. Pirates rush 4, time for Loftus. Scrambles, tucks it, and angles out at the 15-yard line. There's a marker down back at the 6. He'd be close to a first down, but we'll wait on the penalty here.
Great job defensively by ECU. I think that was Javen Nicholas, number 5. They had him kind of bracketed with a safety over the top in man coverage. Made it difficult for Loftus to push the ball down the field.
This will be a hold on Charlotte. 5 first quarter penalties.
Offense, number 75. Penalties decline. It's 4th down.
It's the right tackle, Christos Fernandez.
Loftus comes up about a yard short, which is why ECU declines the penalty. So it's 4th down.
See it right there. He just reaches out and grabs. He's played a lot of both tackle positions this season. He's played right tackle, a little left tackle. That time hands in the cookie jar and gets caught with the hold.
Here's Bryson Long punting from the 5. And Kyler Pearson signals for a fair catch. We'll grab it at the 41-yard line. The American on ESPN Plus is home to over 40 college football games, over 1,000 exclusive live events, and every American Conference championship throughout the season. For more information and to sign up, head online to stream.espn.com. Gold-plated start for the purple and gold here today, Reggie. 2 possessions, 2 scores, a couple of 4th down conversions, one to keep a drive alive, one to score, and the defense, as expected, has done the job against Charlotte so far. Hauser on the roll to the outlet, juggled and dropped incomplete, looking for Cesario Riles on first down.
That's great recognition by Caleb Curtin, recognizing Riles working out to the flat. He gets there right away and is able to dislodge the football to force the incompletion.
Curtin is an excellent player, 2-time FCS All-American just down the road, and Elon joined the team back in the spring. 2nd down for the Pirates. It's Mangrum out of the backfield in motion. Hauser goes his way, throws further downfield, coming back to the reception at the 45-yard line. That's good for a first down. Alex Smith with his first reception.
Yeah, he's over there working on CJ Clinkscales, number 12. He just runs up the field. So what they're doing right now, they're recognizing Charlotte's playing off soft coverage, so they're running a lot of hitches, stop routes, comeback routes, to make things easy on this quarterback and this offense to get free yardage.
The first couple of drives, the target was Anthony Smith. This drive, it's Yannick Smith. Back-to-back receptions down to the 39-yard line. 2nd and 4 for the Pirates. Riles goes in motion. Time for Hauser. He's going big as Anthony Smith open in the end zone, and he dropped it. The picture perfect start for the Pirates. Just hit a speed bump. 8 yards behind the defense.
Yeah, Caton Hauser pump fake to the outside. It held the safeties, and Smith just absolutely dropped it. Now he's going into the end zone right near the shadows with the sun and the shade. Maybe that impacted his vision. Not quite sure. Maybe he was thinking about celebrating. He knows it's his fault. You see it right there, but at the end of the day, you got to make that catch in a situation like this, and he's unable to do it. I guarantee you he's saying, come back to me, I'll atone.
There was a huge murmur still audibly bellowing from Downey Thicklin. A third down carry for maybe a yard for TJ Engelman. And it looks like the offense will once again stay on the field for Blake Harrell. Already 2 out of 2 on 4th down today.
Well, there's no benefit. You punt the football right here, you might. If you don't get it, if you don't down it inside the 5, which is very difficult to do, you're going to get like 18 yards of field position back. So why not go for it?
They need the 35-yard line. 4th down for the Pirates, up 14 already in the first quarter. Hauser, high pass, a little bit behind the intended target. Looking for Riles once again. It's incomplete. And the 49ers get a little bit of an uptick defensively. They will take over on down.
This is a great job by Caden Schmitz, number 19, the linebacker. Look at him get his right hand up there and get a piece of that football. That's well done by Caden Schmitz there in his zone. And then the drop earlier in the drive. That right there, that was 6 points on the board. You end up with nothing on the drop. Guarantee you Smith will be looking for opportunities to make up for that throughout this game.
So Charlotte back on offense for the 3rd time, trying to drum up anything they can. Loftus to the right, flat picked off, intercepted by ECU, and down the sideline with nobody in front. Touchdown, Pirates. Tamir Brown stepped in front of the route near the sideline and waltzed home for the Pirates. 20 love ECU. First pick of the year for Tamir. First career interception for Tamir Brown, the transfer from the University of North Carolina. 3rd year with the Pirate program. And this is another hallmark of the ECU defense over the last few years. Defensive scores. About that neck wear. The neon pirate around the neck of Brown.
So Brown does a great job here. Watch Loftus stare this down. See, Loftus is staring there the entire time. Sean Brown runs a little speed cut out there. Brown had no fear of anything going over the top. He's looking right into the eyes of Grayson Loftus. Jumps this ball, undercuts Brown, and then it becomes a foot race, and Brown's not going to get caught from behind. That's excellent anticipation. Great job in tight man coverage, and he makes a huge play that flips this thing completely on its head. And of course, the defensive coordinator, Coach Aldridge, Josh Aldridge, loves every second of that. We had a chance to talk to him, and just talking to him, he's from Western Tennessee. And that was one of the first things that was kind of the conversation. And I said, Coach, I got 901 roots. He said, you know, I remember when I was growing up, 901 was all the way up to Jackson. Now it's just Memphis. So he's an interesting guy, intense for sure. And there you see Coach Tim Albin trying to figure out something for his offense. They just got, you see it there, just the 2 total yards. Been really dominated here in this first quarter.
Mistake field opening quarter for the 49ers. There's Aldridge. By the way, his parents are at the game today. His dad just retired from Procter & Gamble, where he helped make Pringles potato chips for the last 40 years. His dad, Steve, his mom, June, they are here at the ballpark. The reason I mentioned ballpark, I'll talk about that if there's first down play. And again, the ECU defense is right on target on first down. And once again, it is Zion Wilson making the stop for the Pirates.
At some point, somebody might want to block Zion Wilson. Like, that guy has been an absolute terror for Charlotte's offense so far in this game. At some point, they're going to need to block him. The former walk-on who has just been an absolute menace to everybody. All offenses the last few games.
By the way, the Charlotte 49ers right now late in the first quarter have -2 total yards in this game. They flip it out to the sideline. Incomplete, pressure again by ECU.
I don't know how they missed it. J.D. Lampley he got mugged coming off the edge there, and they didn't call it. I thought he got held. They got away with one, but still put pressure on Loftus and forced the incompletion. Lampley is another one of these guys. Rockingham, North Carolina, Richmond Senior High School. That program has had a history of churning out really good football players, particularly in the offensive and defensive line. He's just another one of those guys.
With 3rd and 12, look at the Pirate defense. They're going to fall back. They rush only 3. Toss it short to the 30, and then gang tackle. Leg still driving, but it'll be about 3, maybe 4 yards short.
This ECU defense, the other thing about them, what you love about watching them, when the ball carrier gets hit, by the time the ball carrier is on the ground, every single defensive player is within 3 yards of the football. They fly to the ball once it's caught or once they realize it's a run.
10 seconds left in this opening quarter. Looks like the 49ers going to let the clock tick out before sending the punt team, we assume, onto the field. Well, the ECU Pirates rolling and dominant early. 21-0 ECU. Montgomery a touchdown run. Anthony Smith the reception, and a Tamir Brown 45-yard pick six. All Pirates in Greenville. Second quarter about to begin from Greenville. 21-0 on homecoming. Perfect weather day and a perfect first 15 minutes with a minor exception of a touchdown pass drop by Anthony Smith. But his teammate made up for it with a pick six about 30 seconds later. And the Pirates rolling already over Charlotte.
It's called complimentary football, as they say.
I got your back. Fourth down for the 49ers, who have not acquired a first down in the game. As a matter of fact, only 8 total yards. As Long will boot it away. Pearson signals for a fair catch and grabs it at the 31.
If you're talking about pace and numbers in a game like this, this is an ECU defense that they're around 50th in the nation, only about 65 snaps per game. If the numbers hold, they would play about 40 snaps because Charlotte only had 10 snaps in that first quarter offensively. That right there is what you call complimentary football. Get off the field on third down and turn it over to your offense.
We talk at the top about the efficiency of Caden Hauser. First quarter, 11 of 16 for 97 yards. Hauser will throw again on first down into the flat and trying to escape and tackle up the sideline, Tyler Johnson.
Charlotte keeping those linebackers in. So they're processing the information, Caden Hauser in particular, processing information early. Okay, I got linebackers in the box with spread formations. I can get the ball out to my receivers, as you see again right there, and then we're just going to take cheap yards. I like this decision-making. Caden Hauser, again, one of the quickest in the country at getting the football out of his hands. See it there, 2.2 seconds. And keep an eye on how this offense is operating. You got a single high safety look right here. That ball's going to come out really, really quick. He's already made the decision before they snap the football. He knew that time right there. A great read. He keeps it there, gets what he can, and gets down.
And by design, the quarterback fake to Montgomery. Hauser slides feet first forward for about 5 yards. They'll mark him back a couple. You see him on the previous play after Montgomery went down and caught that low pass. Montgomery came back and Hauser looked over his shoulder and said, "Hey, thanks for picking me up on that low pass." Deep over the middle. First down again for the Pirates inside the 35-yard line. Tyron Waiters with the reception for the Pirates. We're already now seeing ECU kind of open up their roster a little bit, going deeper down the wide receiving core. And meanwhile, Anthony Smith is not on the field as Montgomery gets tripped up, or else that could have been a touchdown for the Pirates. Ankle tackle around the 25-yard line.
London Montgomery again. He just great vision, works off to that left side, sees some space behind left guard Panda Askew, picks up positive yards.
Already 7 different receivers for the Pirates have caught a pass, including Montgomery, their running back, with 2. And Montgomery squeezes through, won't be denied. That should have gone for negative yardage.
I mentioned Panda Askew. That's actually Kyle Long, number 75, in there at that left guard position. And that time again, he's just creating space, working up the field, moving guys out of the way.
Reggie, we have our first Mike Wright Jr. sighting. He's coming off the ECU sideline. They split Hauser all the way to the bottom of your screen. And the Vanderbilt, Mississippi State Northwestern transfer, the definition of a Swiss Army knife for ECU, who plays both sides of the ball, by the way, is going ahead of the sideline and hear what kind of play call they're going to make here. And there is Mike Wright Jr., who has only been with this ECU program since about May. He has already become so beloved by his teammates and his coaching staff that many say he's one of their favorite players they've ever met in college football. There you see his timeline. Started a couple of games at Northwestern last year, then took his red shirt, jumped into the portal again. Started at Vanderbilt for a couple of years, Mississippi State, then NU, and now ECU. And the Pirates were able to get him out of the portal in early May. Savannah Collins on the sideline has more.
Well, what I love about Mike Wright Jr.'s Instagram profile is if you look in his bio, usually football players are going to put what position they play. And his says, "I don't know what position I play," because he plays so many. And it's really been a treat for this coaching staff to find ways to get Mike in. It's a guy that they love to have on the field. But Reggie, they talked to us a lot about how it can be tough to find a balance of the defense and offense trying to use him and coordinating that.
And now Wright flips it. He'll get the return pass from Hauser, and Mike Wright toward the pylon, and he's pushed out short. Might have stepped out of bounds a couple yards shy. How about that for play design? We heard we have more Mike Wright Jr. wrinkles this week.
Oh,
you just saw one.
Yeah, you knew they were going to come up with something. He runs what looks like he's going to take off out to the outside. Little flip back to the quarterback. Katenhauser immediately, that quick release, that quick decision-making, goes right back to right up the sideline on a little wheel route. And good on Charlotte defensively, recognizing getting out there to keep right out of the end zone, but well conceived there by J.D. Baker out of the timeout.
All right, what will the Pirates do here? Hauser on the keep, the fake to Montgomery. And ECU, 18 minutes deep, is up by 27 on Charlotte. It's an exhibition right now in Greenville. And how about Jamari McCrimmon, who just spiked the football in the end zone? That'll draw a penalty. But it is all Pirates already.
Got to give the ball to the big guy. Let the offensive lineman finish the drive after the touchdown.
After the play was over, sportsmanlike conduct. East Carolina number 62. 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
And I
all
like
those
that by
smiles on
Charlotte.
that sideline, right? The fans are booing. The Pirates on the sideline are loving it.
And there you see it, boom. And the official's right there. The field judge is right there. But he's watching the action happen, and they call it immediately.
Can't imagine Blake Harrell's going to be too thrilled about that celebration, but what a day already for ECU. 11:58 to go in the second quarter. And ECU up 28-0 on Charlotte. Here is the Mike Wright Jr. catch. Started that play as the QB. And then the payoff by Hauser. ECU by 28.
Introducing Verts. Swipe for news and highlights. Now available on the ESPN app.
Point lead for the Pirates. little more than 3 minutes has gone by in the second quarter. And Charlotte is still looking for its first down of the game. The unsportsmanlike penalty forces the kickoff to come from the 20, so it should be decent field position for Ely and the 49ers. Now he is dangerous, and Ely tripped up around the 40-yard line, tumbles forward to about the 47. Looked like Jonathan Jean right there on the special teams tackle that might have saved 6 points for Charlotte.
I was just getting ready to say, Ryan Smith, the special teams coordinator for ECU, has his team on task so far in this game. As you see the shoestring tackle there, they've been really good against Derek Ely in this return game so far in this game, until right there they give up a little bit of a bigger one in terms of a return. Derek Ely amongst the top 50 in the country at 25-plus yards per return. Has been really good back there. And this time he gives his team really good field position, aided obviously by that penalty.
Loftus will stay in as QB. Javen Nicholas, haven't said his name yet. He's in motion behind the backfield to fake his way. Loftus fires up the side, and that is caught around the 41-yard line. And there is the first down in the game for the 49ers. Late penalty marker sails in at the point of the tackle. Sean Brown, the reception. Charlotte had 8 total yards in the game until that hookup for third team. We'll see if it stands.
Personal foul. Targeting. Defense, number 10. That play is under further review.
We'll take a further look at this. Damian Wilson right now tentatively charged with the target. Tim Schoen is our replay official today. All right, so let's see what you see.
Sean Brown just works up the field, kind of basically a curl route. And then right there at the point of the tackle, Chance Graves trying to bring him down. And you see Wilson right there, number 10. It's close enough, in my opinion, to crown of the helmet. Right there are indicators. Crown of the helmet is one, a launch is the other. He's not on his feet anymore either. I think this is going to remain a targeting call. Watch him there, right there. See, he's coming off of his feet. So that's the launching aspect of it. And then the crown of the helmet, within 6 inches of the crown of the helmet, is what they say. And the biggest piece of that, he just doesn't need to do it. And I think that's probably the conversation more than anything, regardless of if this remains targeting or not, is you don't need to do it in this situation. Now, if Wilson is charged with targeting, he's done for the game, but that doesn't impact the next football game because we're still in the first half.
The decision has been made. We'll see if it is upheld.
There is no targeting. The result of the play, first down.
Wilson stays.
Wow.
He's safe. Not voted off the island.
Well, I think part of that is, I'll say it this way. Sean Brown is not considered defenseless there. And that's an aspect as well.
They did show the replay on the Jumbotron to our right. The fans and the coaching staff, more importantly for Charlotte, got a good look at whether or not that should have been called targeting. They clearly disagree with the decision. And it is the first down for the 49ers on that play. Here's a toss. Here is Nicholas for the first time. He's a game changer, dynamic player, and Nicholas takes it inside the 30. That's good for about 13.
Yeah, he had number 74, Tyler Gibson, out in front. I think he's got to stay behind Tyler Gibson and allow the big guy, number 74, to get the last block that he needs to get him up the sideline. It's well done by ECU defensively, not letting him get to the sideline, but Nicholas has got to stay behind big 74 Tyler Gibson and allow him to get that block for him to get up the sideline.
Is there a counterpunch from the 49ers today? We've yet to see it. Back-to-back first downs. They run on first down for nothing. Now you go back to their game. Again, they were off last week. So 2 weeks ago, they take on North Texas. Outstanding offense for North Texas. Charlotte was leading that game with 8 minutes to go in the third quarter, 20-17. 37 unanswered points led to the scoreline blowout, and they give it the first 28 here after the bye week.
Yeah, for Charlotte, a lot of it this season has been about responding. You go back and look at some of their games, there is generally a moment that occurs, and they just sometimes struggle to respond, as Cobb that time can't bring that one in. You go back to the Temple game, they're down 2 scores, but they're driving. They hit a deep ball down the sideline to Sean Brown. It's ruled a catch. They review it. take it off the board, they punt, it goes south from there. You go back to the North Texas game, they're in it. It's a one-possession game. In the third quarter, they fake a punt, don't get it, the numbers go crazy, they end up losing the game big. So it's just about responding for this team when they reach those moments of adversity.
And again, it can be talent, it can be physical, but it also can be psychological. And the Niners have now surrendered 65 straight points. 3rd and 10, and this is caught by Sean Brown. He will stretch to about the 20. It looks like he's going to be about a yard short.
I think he got
it. Will bring up 4th down, and there's absolutely no reason to do anything but keep the offense on the field.
That's a tough spot there for Brown. I thought he reached out and got the ball across the line to gain there on the dive. I thought his lower body was still up, but they say he was short. So 4th and very short for Charlotte here.
And now whistles blow.
I think this is going to be a review here.
They're going to review the spot?
Yeah, I think so.
On the field is that the runner was short of the line to gain. That play is under further review.
So the 49ers over the sideline, and for head coach Tim Albin doing anything he can to keep the chins up and keep the psyches positive for his 49ers. He felt like they really had a good week in practice.
See what?
Still bought in.
Watch Brown here. See that right arm reaches out. The left hand, and it's not his elbow, it's not his leg, it's the left hand. He's allowed to push off with that left hand. So as long as that left knee is not down first, right, that's the question, the left knee there. If the left knee is not down, he's fine. Watch the left knee again right there. Does that left knee touch down? And if it does, then he's short, likely. But if they're saying that that left knee is not down, then I think he might have gotten this first down. It'll be very interesting to see what they rule here. Look at that left knee.
No, I don't think it went
down.
down.
I don't know that it touched. I don't know that it touched. They've got to have, again, indisputable video evidence.
I think the previous replay is the one that's going to say that the knee didn't touch. I didn't see it touch.
Yeah, they're going to have to put a couple of different angles together here to decipher this. Looks like they have deciphered it.
After review, the ruling on the field is upheld. 4th down. The ball is at the 19.5-yard line.
All right, so it's 4th down for the 49ers. Call is upheld. And the 49ers just inside the 20-yard line.
This is less than 9. I mean, this is about a foot.
Now Cameron Smith has come in off of the sideline. He's going to get his first rotation in the backfield. He has had some fumbling issues as well. He's the running back to Loftus left.
Smith is the biggest back at about 225 pounds.
And he gets the call. When he gets wrapped up, he's still driving forward. I don't think he got there.
He didn't get there.
And it is ECU ball. Pirates stop the Niners on 4th and 1. Rayon Roseboro.
That was actually Jerry Cobb. Jerry Cobb trying to work up inside. This defense steps up again. ECU dominant defensively, leading 28-0 in the second quarter. How about the start in this game for Caton Hauser, the signal caller for ECU, coming out early in this ball game, efficient, 75%, 15 of 20, 146 yards, and a touchdown. The quick release, the great vision, and by the way, it would be even better. He would be, probably 16 of 20 if Anthony Smith doesn't drop a touchdown.
And 200 yards.
Yeah, absolutely. Caton Hauser has been absolutely on fire, spreading the ball around. You see there 8 different receivers.
And on the ground on first down, again, it's a Marlon Gunn for about 3. Hauser spent a couple of years in East Lansing with the Michigan State Spartans, played 12 games there, grew up in Nevada, moved to California for his last couple of years of high school football before heading to the Big Ten, and now to ECU, second down. A lot of time yet again, coming back to the ball past the 35-yard line. That'll be a first down for ECU. Anthony Smith back on the field for the Pirates as he picks up his 6th catch of the afternoon.
How about Caton Hauser just firing that ball in there against tight coverage? Multiple defenders in the area, and puts it right on Anthony's chest there.
Hauser looks off once Spalding tipped into the air and incomplete. Trying to squeeze one in. Well timed by Shipman, who's the graduate of Harvard who came into this Charlotte program during the offseason.
Yeah, Shipman's going to take off, go off the field. Came up a little bit uncomfortable there. Getting back to Anthony Smith, you just knew that he would get himself back involved in this passing game. Too valuable for this offense not to be involved heavily.
And on second down, this is Gunn shifting, moving left. And gets past the 40, it's about the 42, 5 yards to go now on third down for ECU.
That's what makes Gunn so scary. He's usually the guy seeking contact, being physical. That time he's making people miss in space. If he starts making you miss in space the way he loves to run you over, you got bigger problems coming your way at 215 pounds out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Play clock at 10. 4-man rush, no pressure whatsoever. Hauser has many options here. He'll dive forward, and the ball came loose near midfield. It's fumbled away, and the 49ers have recovered. They forced the fumble at midfield. Shea Taylor recovers for the 49ers. And Shea Taylor is one of those leaders at Ohio who followed Tim Albin to Charlotte, along with many others, and the 49ers stop ECU. There's the strip and the recovery. 49er football when we come back.
Welcome back to Greenville. Pirates with a 28-0 lead, but Charlotte with the ball after it was knocked out by Caden Schmitz, and then Shea Taylor grabbed possession, and those two are the package deal. They followed coach from Ohio, they're roommates, they're both leaders and looked up to, and they're not afraid to challenge each other. In fact, they talked about how they're so good at sensing one another and picking each other up on the field that together they are better.
And both Ohio kids. Schmitz a couple of years in Ohio. Taylor played 4 years for the Bobcats, and here they are trying to help kind of set the new foundation for the Charlotte 49ers with their former head coach at Ohio, Tim Allen.
Really nice play that time by Grayson Loftus. Not a whole lot there in the passing game. Eventually, he's able to find an outlet out in the flat and dump that ball off to Rod Gainey Jr. to pick up about 4 yards. It's better than what they've been doing on first downs in this game. An average of just 3 yards per on first down for Charlotte. That's how you end up behind the chains.
Nicholas in motion on 2nd and 7 for the 49ers. Just trying to find anything to hang their hat on offensively. And a low delivery by Fortis. He may have gotten a hit on the release. It brings up 3rd down.
Yeah, the other thing that's so difficult for the Charlotte team, in terms of running the football, they like to get, what they do best is inside zone. Well, the problem is the way this defensive front penetrates, you can't get inside zone running. And when that's the case, it just makes things so difficult to get your offense started at any level against this group.
3rd down for the 49ers. Play clock at 3. Loftus will heave once. His wide receiver, Sean Brown, overshot him by a couple of yards, brings up 4th down.
Yeah, great catch by the young sophomore, or coverage, I should say, by the young sophomore number 2, Jamarly Riddle. That safety spot does a really nice job in one-on-one coverage there.
It's
against Sean Brown.
Interesting play call on 3rd and 6 there to go deep. It almost tells me this is 4-down territory and plus territory for the 49ers.
Well, that, and you see an opportunity. You've got a 7th-year player in Sean Brown at 6'4". You got a chance to use your big receiver and potentially give him a one-on-one 50-50 ball. That's the mindset there of that call.
Yeah, you heard Reggie right. There are actually 2 7-year players on this Charlotte team. 4th and 7, pressure coming. It's balloon down the side. Nicholas comes to it, spins away, and now goes laterally across the field toward the goal line. Oh, what effort by Javen Nicholas on 4th down. Took the pass, pirouetted away, and then parried off 2 Pirates for a 46-yard touchdown. That is a 5-star effort by Javen Nicholas, who came to the 49er program from LSU, along with the new offensive coordinator for the 49ers, Todd Fitch. You know why? His cousin blocked him last year. His cousin is the top wide receiver at LSU. Nicholas was playing behind him and couldn't get around him, so he transferred out and now gets an opportunity to shine. Aaron Anderson, who was the leading receiver for the LSU Tigers going into their game tonight against Alabama.
Now you see it here. Loftus stands in there. He knows he's going to take a shot. Didn't take as big a shot as he probably thought, but I love what he did. He threw this ball back to the middle a little bit to keep the defender off balance. Now, part of that was because he threw it off balance, and then Javen Nicholas with the individual effort to get into the end zone. But that's trusting your guy. That's absolutely trusting your guy. If you're a guy in Grayson Loftus, you got to trust Javen Nicholas to make a play for you.
3 years at Baton Rouge with LSU. Savannah has more on Javen.
Well, Reggie, how you said, being the guy in Charlotte, that's something that has to be earned. And Coach Todd Fitch told us that sometimes when you're coming in with a player from a program, guys can think, oh, he's just going to be the go-to because he's familiar. That is not the case with Javen Nicholas. It is clear that's who should be playing. He earned the respect of the team because of the way he comes in to work every day. And like you mentioned, Patrick, finally getting this starting opportunity. He loves to play and cherishes getting these opportunities on the field.
That is Nicholas's first catch today. He had 4 last year at LSU. Looking for an opportunity to blossom, to showcase, and he's found that spot here in Charlotte.
Nicholas has all the ability in the world. A career-high 187 yards against North Texas earlier in the year, against North Carolina, 11 catches in that ball game. So he can be a volume playmaker for you. Just have to give him opportunities, and he proved it right there.
28-7 ECU. And there is a look at the offensive coordinator Todd Fitch, who spent some time here at ECU a good 15, 16 years ago.
Yeah,
Working with Skip Holtz. He has actually a couple of his players here being honored today.
Saw Coach Fitch before the game, and he kind of, as the team walked in, he didn't even go all the way in the locker room. He just kind of took a full lap around this field and just kind of took it all in and looked around. And as you see, Yannick Smith make a nice catch there and move the chains on first down, and you'll see the tempo pick up for this ECU offense as you see again Coach Fitch up there.
I asked Todd earlier in the week, I said, why Charlotte from LSU? Why did you come here? He said, first off, they have 9 really good years in the Carolinas. Loves the area. A mutual friend of his had worked with Tim Albin, had great things to say about Coach Albin, and wanted to be parts of that. Build a young program and build the consistency here. It's the responsibility of the new coaching staff for the 49ers. Anthony Smith back on the field for the Pirates. 2nd and 3. And this will be close. Engelman maybe about a half-yard short.
And right now, if you're ECU, right, you've got a 3-score lead, 3-possession lead. Now it's time to potentially crank up this running game that's been so effective the last few weeks. Let's get them involved, get the offensive line working downhill, moving people out of the way as they pick up the first down there, and start getting some of that going and really try to start leaning on this Charlotte defense.
Engelman will pick up the first down. Again, he's been a guy that they've seen a lot of flashes with in the spring, a lot of flashes in the fall, giving him an opportunity for some more reps. And Reggie, when you talked about the running game last week at Temple, ECU, 10 different ball carriers, 358 yards on the ground. So they're more than capable to turn it up that way as well. There's a look at the last couple of games for the ECU run game.
Yeah, against a couple of coaches in Casey Keeler at Temple with the defensive line coach Cedric Calhoun. That's a good group up there. Tulsa, a program that's kind of building itself back up under Trey Lamb, one of the youngest head coaches in the country. Great job by this running game the last couple of games.
Pressure from the backside, a pass just a little bit out ahead near the 30-yard line, looking for Javante Connor.
That might be a situation where Caden Hauser just kind of missed, right? This ball is there. He's trying to get it over the defender there, Reed Williford, and just kind of puts it a little bit too far up the field as he's trying to get it over the top of that linebacker down there in the zone.
Might have heard the loud footsteps of Solomon on the blind side. 4:56 for the half. 28-7 ECU. 4-man rush, stunt up the middle. Hauser sprints out, deflected in the air, dangerous, but it lands incomplete. The 49ers were trying to get back on balance and scramble to it. Gavin Shipman was the closest one to it.
And that time, that's just a difficult throw for Caden Hauser. He's working to his left. He's trying to get his body back right, and it's a great job. I think that's J.Q. Conley, number 6. Yep, right there, getting that left hand in there and knocking that ball up in the air for the deflection.
3rd and 10. Let's see what J.D. Baker dials up here.
Ton of credit to J.D. Baker. He's a guy that, you know, as a coordinator, and you know, he will take what the defense gives him. And look at that throw that time by Caden Hauser to Yannick Smith. Really well-conceived route there against this defense. He just goes and kind of sits down. He's got some space out there to the right, works to the inside, just a little bit of a zone coverage, and he makes a nice grab, and now they go quick.
And Riles inside the 15, pinball off a would-be tackler. So that 19-yard gain, and then they hustle to the line of scrimmage. Same personnel, and they move it down inside the 15.
How about DeCirio Riles, the tight end? Him and JC, Javante Connor, couple of really, really good ones at tight end. Both have kind of battled being nicked up and beat up throughout the season. When those two guys are both healthy, that is a dangerous, dangerous group.
Spalding comes in motion. First down. Fake to Engelman. And Hauser drilled as they made the throw. This time Solomon did get there. Solomon is beginning to figure things out, getting through and around the offensive line. First time we've seen Hauser really knocked down.
Hauser stands right in there, and oh man, that is a big-time shot from Jamarian Solomon, who, look, he missed the Army game earlier in the year. He was limited a few weeks ago against Temple, but played much. He's starting to feel good and feel like himself again, and right there he's able to get some penetration and make a play. He is a difficult guy to deal with, about 270, 280 pounds out of South Florida, that Miami area, nothing but football players down there.
Second down, quick pitch, another juggle. It almost looked like it was kicked off at the leg or foot of Yannick Smith. It's about 3 times now we've seen tipped or deflected passes off of wide receivers of ECU. They just kind of hang in the air waiting to be picked.
Yeah, that time Yannick Smith was trying to come back to the football, didn't quite get as far enough back to the football as he needed to be able to bring that one in cleanly, and popped it up in the air. And as DBs will tell you, tips and overthrows is what we like.
Pirates 4 out of 8 on third down today. This is 3rd and 10. Just inside the 15. Empty backfield. 3-man rush over the middle. A little bit too high, then a late banging hit will draw a yellow flag. Talk about defenseless. It was Riles who was up in the air going for the ball, and J.Q. Conley just laid him out up around the shoulders and up high, and that drew the penalty.
Yeah, he knew it too. I think he obviously lost track of where the football was. His mentality was he's open.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 6. Half the distance to the goal, automatic, first down.
So instead of a 4th down for ECU in the field goal unit, automatic first down on the personal foul.
I think that time Conley thought, I got to dislodge the football so that he doesn't come down with it and it'll be a touchdown. But he was very, very late on a receiver that was up in the air, and it cost his team 15 yards. Well, it cost him minimal yards, but it cost him an automatic first down.
Half the distance to the goal. First and goal now from the 7-yard line. Engelman nosing forward. Maybe got back to the original line of scrimmage. Engelman, redshirt freshman out of Cincinnati. He played mainly special teams for the Pirates last year.
If you're a Charlotte fan, you feel okay defensively in terms of the running game so far, only allowing about 2.7 yards a carry. So this defensive front doing a decent job in the running game, but Caden Hauser is having his way in the passing game.
Tight formation here for the Pirates on 2nd and goal. Hauser, a fake Engelman's way, and throws back. This will go for a loss of a couple of yards. Rugged tackle at the back end of that play. And it's now 3rd and goal for ECU. Again, that's Shea Taylor, who recovered that fumble a moment ago on the finalizing hits on Riles.
Yeah, Shea Taylor was like, I'm not letting you break this tackle. And that's something that Charlotte has talked about, is being better at tackling in space this season. They, at times, have really struggled to get guys on the ground. That time, Shea Taylor finishing the play.
3rd and goal. Where will Hauser look this time? To the right, throws back, and has a man wide open, center of the end zone. Touchdown ECU. It's Yannick Smith. And a 5th first half touchdown for the once beaten Pirates. There's a 14-play, 75-yard drive on the heels of the first Charlotte points in about a full game of football.
Great design by Baker. What they did, Anthony Smith came over the front of the ball, but they worked Brock Spalding off of motion up the sideline, and it put the defenders in the back end in conflict as Yannick Smith just kind of worked a little curl route went over the mid, like toward the middle, and just kind of sat down in the end zone, and he's wide open. Great job by J.D. Baker scheming it up. Then an excellent job by Caden Hauser with the vision, moving the safeties, moving the defenders with his eyes, and then coming back to Yannick Smith back over kind of near the hash area for a touchdown. It's really well designed. And you see Coach Blake Harrell there. He continues to talk about energy and effort for his guys. He wants to start fast and finish strong. They have certainly started fast in this football game to the tune of 35-7 here in the second quarter.
Hauser has been pristine today, 22 out of 32. He's already thrown for 216 and 2 touchdowns. Frankly, should be about over 270 with at least 3 touchdowns. And that one big drop by Anthony Smith earlier in this half.
The big drop by Anthony Smith. Yannick Smith dropped one earlier on that drive as well. You start adding this thing up and you clean up some of the drops. He's probably closer to 26, maybe even 27 of 32.
Now, this is not anything that ECU coaches would ever talk about, but remember, last year, Charlotte put 55 points on ECU in Charlotte, and that was the game that kind of led to the demise of the then administration of ECU football. And the Pirates slinging it around here in this first half 32 times, and already 35 points on the board. And a first down run for the 49ers goes nowhere. Preston Carr was the first one right there, number 44 on the tackle for ECU. Here's Rod Gainey Jr. back into the backfield for the 49ers. The 2-minute timeout on the way, and the Pirates piling on. See the carnage in this first half for ECU. They're going to go back to the end of their Temple game last week. They scored in their final 5 possessions of that game. Scored on 4 of 6, all for touchdowns here today. Hauser, 2 through the air, 1 on the ground. And only 91 total yards surrendered by the top-ranked defensive unit in the American Conference.
ECU 4 for 4 in the red zone. So that's the key. 4 of 6 drives. The 4 that got to the red zone, they finished them.
So out of the 2-minute timeout, 2nd and 10 for Loftus and ECU. That was tipped and incomplete. 3rd down. All right, well, I want to kind of pick your brain here a little bit, Reggie. For Tim Albin, still certainly coaching for this game, trying to just execute, move things in a positive direction. More broadly, though, what does the coaching staff need to do? Because there's been a shellacking the last half against North Texas, first half here, to make sure you keep the team unified.
You just got to figure out what works, right? What are you good at on a consistent basis? And that's the key. It's not that, you know, this is a football team that can't do things. It's their issue oftentimes is being able to do it with repetition, being able to do it consistently. As you see a nice throw that time. Great job by Sean Brown on the sideline, but Grayson Loftus, that's a nice job. The protection broke down a little bit. He steps up in the pocket, moves, and makes a strong throw as Sean Brown comes back to him and makes a nice catch right there on the sideline. Look at Brown go up, great awareness, great feel, and gets that left foot down in bounds. 6'4", about 200 pounds, the grad student, 7th-year player Sean Brown, showing the savvy and the awareness to make that catch on the sideline for a first down.
Nice conversion on 3rd and 10 for Charlotte. Into Pirate territory with 1:49 on the clock. Loftus looking for Brown again, finds him behind the defense to the 5, stretches for the pylon, and he's going to be marked out at the 1.
Yeah, he's working on Jordy Lowry, number 15, the corner, and he's able to get by him up the field. Out there to the left of your screen at the top left, he just runs by him. And now all of a sudden it's a foot race. Great job by Jamarlee Riddle with the pursuit drill to beat Brown to the pylon and get him out of bounds.
1st and goal now for Charlotte. Rod Gainey checks in as the running back for the 49ers. And don't look now. They're, again, just trying to stitch a couple of things together, trying to go back-to-back possessions for scores.
How about Sean Brown this drive? A couple of nice plays.
And we'll get a timeout.
On the field, set the runner short of the goal line. That play is under further review.
Tell you, Sean Brown, when he came out of there, got up and expected to see the arms up from the officials because he did stretch that ball out toward the pylon. They are going to review here. And when you're a 7th-year player, this is it. You don't know how many more opportunities you'll have to score some touchdowns. Maybe that left foot might have stepped out of bounds.
It's interesting. That's the foot to watch there, the left foot. Sean Brown's an interesting story. Was a guy that started his career at UNC Pembroke and then transferred back to Charlotte and was just going to be a student. Wasn't even planning to play football. Ends up a part of this football program, and he's become a nice leader for this group. Now that left foot, the official was right there and made the call right away. You wonder if that's what they're looking at.
Yeah, this might have been a question of maybe Charlotte pleading for a touchdown. I think it's going to work against him. They marked the ball at the 1. I think they're going to move it back to the 3-yard line because that left leg does look like it's out of bounds.
Yeah, they're certainly going to move it back.
Right on the paint.
Of course, if you're Charlotte, you're going, we need a break. Can we get a break?
After review, the runner was down at the 2-yard line and out of bounds. Be first down, Charlotte. Please set the game clock to 1:43. 1:43.
Well, Sean Brown made that extension right here in front of me, looked up at the referee, thought he had it, and said, oh, come on. So he thought he was in, but they'll back it up 1.
Yeah,
Look at Savannah down there. Yeah. Right place, right time all the time.
Maybe this will be his time. 1st and goal from the 2. Brown to the bottom of your screen. Handoff, left side, and nothing happening for Cobb. Driven back outside the 5. He'll lose a couple. And a timeout taken by ECU.
It's 2 things. That's the aggressive nature of head coach Blake Harrell and J.D. Baker, the offense coordinator as well, to go along with the fact that Charlotte just can't get a push at the line of scrimmage. Really struggling, particularly in the running game. It's 10 carries right now for 3 yards. I mean, they're just really struggling to move people out of the way. This defensive front of ECU has done an excellent job playing on Charlotte's side of the line of scrimmage on a consistent basis in this first half.
1:39 left in the half. 2 timeouts now for ECU. Looks like at Roseboro delivered a big fake punt conversion last week at Temple. Lost a couple of yards, 2nd and goal. Back at the 4. 35-7 ECU. Late first half. Loftus looking right, and that's tipped away. Pass not on target, looking once again for Nicholas. Jonathan Jean defending the pass. It's 3rd and goal.
Yeah, Jonathan Jean, the nickel, number 22 there. Excellent job in one-on-one coverage. Makes a nice play there.
I think psychologically for the 49ers, regardless of how this game plays out, they need to get in the end zone here.
Absolutely.
They've had a nice drive. Loftus has been throwing much more accurately the last couple of drives. Can they punch it in against the top defense in the American? 3rd and goal. That's Mason in motion. Loftus to the back of the end zone. Leaping grab. Was the foot down? Touchdown! What a catch! And it was Sean Brown denied the touchdown a moment ago. He didn't want that one. This is a lot more Michelangelo-like for Sean Brown. 35-13 ECU.
How about Loftus just driving this ball to the back of the end zone, and Brown with the nice catch, a la Indiana earlier today to beat Penn State on the road in a big spot. My alma mater goes down. Sean Brown channeling his inner, showing that 6'4" frame, great awareness. Look at the eyes to catch the ball while checking his feet. Great awareness once again for a touchdown.
Yeah, the IU coaching staff, you didn't know this, they texted Todd Fitch that play and said you got to run it. It's a guaranteed touchdown. Yeah. If it works against Penn State, it'll work against anybody. Extra point is driven through. And as we approach halftime, 35-14. Let's take a look at what Loftus has done from the first couple of series to now. 5 of 11 out of 123 in the last couple of drives.
His feet seem a lot more settled, and he seems to be just letting the ball fly. He's not staring at things, trying to figure it out. He's just letting the defense dictate to him where to go with the football. He's much more calm, and he's been much more effective since the first part of this football game.
There is Sean Brown, again, playing his final few games of college football. 3 more games remain for the 49ers, but a guy who has undergone so much over his career, the resiliency, battling back. Grew up in Waxhaw, North Carolina, a couple of years at UNC Pembroke, but regardless of how challenging and stiff this season has been against the 49ers, that is a memorable moment for Charlotte and for Sean Brown.
Marvin Ridge High School product down in Waxhaw, a playoff team again this year in North Carolina public school football.
And that kick through the back of the end zone. Pirates still have a couple of timeouts and 1:31 on the clock. And we have some pushing and shoving near the 30-yard line or so. Official comes in to break things up, no penalties.
And the thing to remember there, as you see ECU, 3rd fastest in the conference in terms of average time. They go fast, and they can beat you up. They've got 23 touchdown drives this year that are less than 3 minutes, and this is an opportunity with 1.5 minutes. They're going to be aggressive here.
Well, they have 6 months here with these 91 seconds to score a touchdown. He completes on the first pass Yannick Smith's way.
And remember, they took a timeout on that previous drive for Charlotte to preserve some time for their offense. It may have been a positive for Charlotte to give them some time to figure out what they wanted. As you see J.D. Baker there, the mastermind of this Pirates offense that has been putting up numbers the last couple of weeks and really throughout the entire season.
You think Harden and Harris and Hardy in attendance here today would love to be on the field for this 2-minute drill? Hauser slides past the 30. It'll be 3rd at about 4.
Caden Hauser's only got 1 game this year under 300 yards. That's that game they lost against BYU. Other than that, he's been lights out much of this season.
A minute to go in the half, 3rd and 5. And Hauser will work down the clock a little more to make sure the right personnel and play is in play. Montgomery tumbling forward. This will be close, perhaps about a half-yard short.
I think they're going to rule it short.
Fans here at Dowdy Ficklin start a murmur of go. And the Pirates are keeping Hauser and the offense on the field for now. They're not expending a timeout.
Fans always want you to go, and then if it doesn't work, it's your fault.
Hard count, you're on offsides. Is that the plan?
They may let this run down and get a timeout here.
Yeah, play clock is at 12. Game clock is at 20. So odds are we'll see a timeout taken by Blake Harrell in about 5 seconds.
Timeout.
7 seconds left. 35-14, ECU on top. Again, the Pirates have not won a conference championship since 08-09, back-to-back in Conference USA. One of 5 one-loss teams. A couple of nights ago, USF, a big win, 55-23 over UTSA. Last night, a bit of a surprise with Memphis losing to Tulane in Memphis, 38-32, and that drops Memphis to 2 losses.
Memphis had to climb back in that game. Tulane was up big early on, and they found a way to climb back. Let's go back to the USF game a couple of nights ago. A thing to remember, a guy that obviously he's not playing in this game, but this game might mean a little bit to him. The quarterback from South Florida, Byron Brown, is a North Carolina native, Rollsville High School in the Raleigh area. So he's well aware of what goes on in this state in high school and college football. And he's obviously, an opportunity for him against ECU potentially in a conference championship game could be interesting.
Low snap, handled, and ECU will get it off. 2 seconds remaining here. And by the way, let's go back to that Tulane win.
Yeah.
ECU's only conference loss is to Tulane.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to how many teams at the end have one loss in the league, the tie-breaking protocol, that's a big one in favor of the Green Wave over ECU.
Yeah, absolutely. And how about the coaches in this league? You talk about John Summerall at Tulane. You talk about Silverfield, Ryan Silverfield at Memphis. Obviously, Alex Golish at South Florida, Blake Harrell here. Some guys early in their coaching careers or early on in their tenures, they're doing some great things at their programs.
Halftime at Dowdy Ficklin. 35-14, ECU leading Charlotte. 49ers will get the football coming out of halftime. At least a couple of promising drives by the 49ers. But make no mistake, 30 minutes of dominant play on both sides of the football by the ECU Pirates.
Yeah, the key's been at the line of scrimmage. Think about it. This Charlotte offense, 11 rushes, just 3 yards, and then really struggling to push the ball down the field with regularity and consistency. Just 9 of 17, and the pick 6 as well as Savannah. Looks like she's got Coach Harrell. Savannah?
Coach, 4 times your team has been in the red zone. Every single time they put points on the board. What are you liking about the execution from the offense right now?
You know, I think we're playing with good energy and good effort and getting the ball down the field. Got to do a better job. I think we had a few incompletions there. Take care of the football. But for all in all, we played pretty good football for about 25 minutes. We got to go finish. So last 5 minutes of the half, not happy with. We got to turn on the second half, play like a 0-0.
Charlotte not able to do much on the ground, but in the air is where they're kind of picking apart the defense. What can they tighten up in the second half?
Yeah, we got silly on a 4th down there. We covered 0. We got beat deep. We got to stay on top. We got some miscommunication up front. And then we were in cover 3, and the corner just sits on it instead of gets running by. So we got to be better there and get them out of the end zone.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Coach. Thanks, Savannah. ECU trying to remain in that American Conference group of 5 teams with 1 conference loss. ECU taking care of business at the break, up on Charlotte 35-14.
Welcome into Studio A. I'm Maria Tribalpiece. What a year so far in women's soccer. We've seen American teams climb in the national rankings, superb individual performances, and so much more. There's still more games to be played, but first, let's take a moment to recognize our major award winners. Memphis's Ashley Henderson was named the American Offensive Player of the Year. Henderson leads the American with 19 points in conference play, with 7 goals and 5 assists. She has 24 points overall on 9 goals and 6 assists. For the second year in a row, Finley Lavin is the Defensive Player of the Year. The Memphis junior helped lead the Tiger defense to allow just 3 goals in 10 conference games. The Midfielder of the Year in the American is Memphis's Ai Kitagawa. Kitagawa has 8 goals and 3 assists on the season and becomes the 4th Tiger to earn the Midfielder of the Year honors. She's also the 4th player in American history to earn an individual award after winning the Freshman of the Year, which she won in 2024. There are 2 Freshmen of the Year in the American. Ellis Kelly of Memphis is one of them. Kelly recorded 5 goals and 4 assists during the regular season and becomes the 6th Tiger to earn the Freshman of the Year honor. Jaden Jigger of Rice was also named Freshman of the Year. Jigger helped lead the Rice defense to a 1.47 goals against average while also providing 2 goals and 4 assists. She is the 2nd OWL player to earn an individual honor in the American. The Goalkeeper of the Year is Memphis's Abby Kudla. In 16 games played, she's allowed just 6 goals. She boasts an .812 save percentage and a 14-0-2 record. The Coaching Staff of the Year award goes to Memphis. Tiger head coach Brooks Monaghan and his staff led Memphis to a 15-0-2 record in the regular season, 9-0-1 in conference play, and to a number 3 ranking in the current United Soccer Coaches poll. It is the 3rd time the Tigers staff has been honored. For more on the Women's Soccer Awards, you can visit our website at theamerican.org. Keep it right here. We have more coming up for you on ESPN+. Welcome into Studio A. I'm Maria Travel Peace. The men's soccer season has been nothing short of exciting. Multiple teams battled until the very end for that #1 spot. There's still more soccer to be played, but before we get to it, let's take a moment to recognize our major award winners. Florida Atlantic's Mamadou Diarra is the Offensive Player of the Year. Diarra finished with 6 goals, 4 assists, and 16 points on the season while helping his Owls secure a share of the American Conference regular season championship. The Defensive Player of the Year is Luke Adams of Tulsa. The redshirt sophomore helped the Golden Hurricane go 3-3-2 in conference play and earn the 6th seed in the American Conference Championship. Charlotte's Ben Fisher is the Midfielder of the Year. The redshirt junior finished the regular season with 1 goal, 5 assists, and 7 points on 10 shots. There are 2 Goalkeepers of the Year in the American. Leo Stritter of Charlotte led the conference in goals against average at .804. He had 45 saves on the year and allowed just 12 goals. Jaheim Wickham of South Florida shares the honor with Stritter. He led the conference in saves with 54 and had a save percentage of .711. The Freshman of the Year is Samuel Manufor from Charlotte. He started in 14 games and was featured on a 49er defense who allowed the least amount of goals of any team in the American. After sharing a part of the regular season championship, head coach Joey Worthen and the Florida Atlantic coaching staff was honored as the coaching staff of the year. The Owls finished 10-3-2 overall and 5-1-2 in conference play. For more on the Men's Soccer Awards, you can visit our website at theamerican.org. Keep it right here. We have more coming up for you on ESPN+.
35-14 halftime score. ECU on top of the Charlotte 49ers. Patrick and Reggie back with you. And Reggie, quite a first half by ECU. Hauser was fantastic. 12 catches by the two Smith receivers for the Pirates, and really no resistance at all from the 49ers.
Yeah, I think what it came down to was the line of scrimmage in this game, and particularly ECU offensively. They were able to control any kind of attempts at a pass rush that Charlotte wanted to get generated. And then on the other side of things, Charlotte unable to move anybody in terms of being able to run the football. And then just a pure dominant in the red zone performance from ECU, and whether it was running the football with London Montgomery or Caton Hauser spinning that thing from the back end, it didn't matter. This play right here, I think, was the key, though, in that first half. The pick six by Tamir Brown, it just really kind of set the tone for what we could expect from ECU the rest of the way.
Hauser 2 touchdowns through the air, 1 on the ground. This one to Yannick Smith made it 35-7. And when you look at the first half stat package, it's almost like looking into an eclipse because they're so gaudy. You don't want to look into it too long because you might go blind taking a look.
The thing that jumps out to me, look at that, almost 21 minutes time of possession for ECU. Not what you expected. You would have expected Charlotte to try to shrink this game.
Right, Hauser thrown for 216. ECU as a unit, 286. They're up 35-14 at the break. You're watching the American Conference on ESPN. Beautiful Greenville, North Carolina. 75 degrees at kickoff in early November. It's an absolute immaculate day. An immaculate day for the ECU Pirates. Through the first half, they're up 35-14. Exactly what Blake Harrell was hoping to do. Take care of business today. No thoughts to look ahead to a big game with Memphis next week. Charlotte will get the football to open up the third quarter.
Yeah, got to stay focused if you're ECU. Now, if you're Charlotte, it's about finding something that can be effective here in this second half. We saw Grayson Loftus have some nice throws down the stretch, obviously responding eventually from that pick six earlier. Now he's got to find some consistency and be able to make some throws. They've got to find a way to get their zone running game going, though.
All right, Cobb will start in the backfield with Loftus. 35-14 ECU. We'll see if the 49ers can take some baby steps and somehow sneak back into this one. First down run for about 4 for Cobb.
That's a nice play. That time they just pull the guard around, the right guard, Mason Bowers, number 57. They just pull him around and ask him to lead up off that left side, and they're able to pick up positive yards. something they really struggled to find in that first half.
Those two big scoring drives for the 49ers late in that first half had to mean the world for confidence for Loftus. Not generally, but just in this game against this Pirate defense.
This
he
Pirate,
needed those. He made a couple of great throws to Brown.
Yeah, this Pirate defense, particularly in the first half, obviously just able to get after the line of scrimmage. And I think that's the biggest key. I don't care what league you're in. I don't care what level of football you play. If you can win the line of scrimmage, you're going to have a chance to win the football game.
Third down and a long 5. Charlotte 2 out of 7 in the first half on third down. Loftus releases quickly to the sideline, wrapped up a little short of the first down, and rake that ball out of there. Still unable as E.J. Mason on his first catch of the game to get there. And it was Tymier Brown who made the initial kind of resistance. He had that interception for a touchdown in the first half.
Brown did a nice job driving on that route.
They're going 4th and short. They're on the 34-yard line. Hits and drops and short. And the Pirates, with Tegan Wilk out of his safety spot, stones the 4th down try in negative territory for the 49ers.
They were late getting lined up, and they still got penetration not only up the middle, but they came off the edge with Tegan Wilk as well and made that play in the backfield. That is excellent defensively.
And Tim Albin rolling the dice. Comes up, Craps will go downstairs to Savannah, who had a chance to talk with Tim at halftime.
Well, Coach told me they knew this was going to be a tough environment coming in, but they could not have had a worse first quarter. But what he said, it hurt my feelings to see the penalties. The self-inflicted wounds was just too much. The bright spot, though, is how proud he was of Grayson Loftus being able just to evolve, settle in throughout the back half of that quarter. But it's tough to play quarterback in this environment, and they have to throw the ball in order to get it done. But they have to put it on the ground first.
After a 9-yard pickup on first down by Montgomery, rolling his Hauser on 2nd and short, and he will usher it into the sidelines. That'll be enough for a first down. Did not want to make a mistake in this territory. High IQ play. First down for the Pirates.
Yeah, the main thing right now, if you're ECU, is don't turn the football over and continue to just fight for the positive yardage and live to snap it another down.
Shortest field offensively in the afternoon for the Pirates.
Mike Wright Jr. now taking the snap.
Yeah, Wright clapping the hands. His second offensive snap. He will take it on himself. Spin away. Not yet put down. Now he's looking to throw. And he will throw it out of bounds. Huge improvisation by Mike Wright. Didn't get tackled. Was looking to make something out of nothing.
That's quarterback intelligence right there. He didn't panic, right? He knew nobody was really running a route because he was designed to run the football there. But he understood, hey, don't take a negative play, throw the football away, and line up again. Don't make a major mistake. Don't fumble it. Don't lose too many yards. Just throw it out of bounds, and we'll line up, let Caton Hauser get back in there and do something different.
Oh, nice tackle on Yannick Smith on the outside. Brings up third down. Tackle there by Gavin Shippen. More on Mike Wright. Again, we've only seen him offensively for a couple of snaps so far, but Blake Harrell and the defensive coordinator for ECU, Josh Aldridge, they both feel like he could be a next-level Sunday cornerback. They just wish they had maybe one more year of eligibility here at the college level to work on that. But, I mean, he's a tremendous athlete. And they're not done building out the package of weapons for him offensively and defensively.
Absolutely not. He's got so many of the tools that you like to see in a really good player as they go out in the flat to Montgomery. That's a really, really nice play that time by Curtis Simpson, the defensive end. Recognized the situation. He saw Montgomery running out to the flat and just peels off and makes a nice tackle out in space. That's a great job by Simpson.
I mean, I'll say this on the Charlotte 49ers. The defense, which has been just lit up over the last 60 minutes or so of football time, the second half of North Texas, the first half here, that's a big stop for the 49ers psychologically, and they're now forcing a 40-yard field goal try here by ECU's Nick Mazie. And Mazie with the leg and the accuracy. 38-14. ECU builds the lead. Montgomery untouched to the end zone, and ECU strikes first. 4th and goal for the Pirates. Going for the big shot early. Hauser flush, back in the end zone, caught, touchdown, 4th down. Loftus to the right, flat picked off, intercepted by ECU, and down the sideline with nobody in front, touchdown Pirates. Tymeer Brown with a big pick six, part of a 35-point first half for the Pirates. Beautiful sunset here in Greenville as we play the back nine of this American Conference contest here today. 38-14 Pirates. They turned over the 49ers on downs. The D for Charlotte stiffened up, forced a field goal made by Mazie from 40 yards, and here comes Grayson Loftus back onto the field. And frankly, he's thrown the ball pretty well, made some good decisions over the last 3 or 4 drives for the 49ers.
Yeah, he's just got to find the consistency. You know, that's been one of his struggles throughout the season, is being able to be consistent throughout the football game. And that's a big number, right? This is an ECU team that gets off the field defensively, but they have had a ton of time with the football on offense.
Loftus rolling to the right and back maybe to the line of scrimmage before Will just punish him down. How about that backflip to get to his feet? That's an athletic move. Tegan Will.
Yeah.
Richie, did he learn this from you?
I don't know about that. This is
all Reggie.
No, that's Shawn Michaels, Booker T-esque right there. For the wrestling fans at home.
If I tried that, I would have to go to my chiropractor on Monday. Loftus buying some time, throws against the grain, complete past the 35-yard line, still spinning, and that's Derek Ely out there beyond the 40 to about the 43.
That's another good sign for Charlotte. Derek Ely, a young receiver, just a redshirt freshman. We know what he can do in the return game. You want to see him continue to grow as a receiver, be able to make plays over the middle, get vertical as well. Not the biggest guy. They're still trying to put some weight on his frame, but that's a good sign, showing his fearlessness going over the middle there.
And again, he's been great in the kickoff return game, one of the tops in the country. But they see him as a future featured wide receiver in this program. On first down, long pass, bobbled and dropped for Samuel Danka, knocked him to the ground.
This is a really good play by Samuel Danka, and the reason why, he's the flat defender, and there's a receiver right there, it's Sean Brown. He's right next to Sean Brown, forces the throw to the outside, and then has the athleticism and the length to recover and be there to keep E.J. Mason from making a catch. That's really well done by Sam Danka.
Past the sideline, caught by Brown, and Brown into ECU territory, down to about the 43. That'll be a first down.
Yeah, picking on Tamir Brown that time, and he's got off coverage against Sean Brown, and they just throw it out there. They're going to take what they give him. It's a good decision that time by Grayson Loftus. Sees the coverage and just lets it rip.
This is a career game for Brown. That's his 7th catch. He has about 115 yards now. And again, doing that against this ECU defense. Top of the table in almost every major defensive category in the conference. Loftus wanting to go deep, now airs it out, spins it toward the goal line, and it is brought in. Touchdown, Javen Nicholas. Another prodigious grab by the LSU transfer. 2 catches that will be at the top of his highlight reel, and a pinpoint throw by Grayson Loftus.
It's just a great job by Grayson Loftus. Good read, and he lets it fly. So what they did, Sean Brown ends up running like a curl route, and it takes a little bit of attention from the underneath safety, and then they just attack over the top. Lowry tries to stretch out and knock that one away. Can't get it done. Javen Nicholas brings it in.
And now they're going to go for 2. 38-20, the ECU lead. We'll see what play they have drawn up here. They're trying to get it within 16, which is 2 full scores, but make it a 2-possession game if they can convert. Pressure coming. There's the pass, and the connection is made. And don't look now, but the Charlotte 49ers, they're not going home yet. Sean Brown, a leaping catch. And now how big does it look that Charlotte was able to hold ECU to a field goal on that last drive? The Charlotte 49ers not going home yet. They're within 16 in Greenville.
The College Football Playoff begins December 19th and concludes with the National Championship January 19th on ESPN.
(38-22). ECU now on top of Charlotte by 16. 8:54 to play in the third quarter. 49ers showing some grit. Loftus has made some big plays. Nicholas, a couple of touchdown receptions and a career day for seventh-year man Sean Brown. ECU on the return. And to the sideline, big hits. Extra hit around the knees of Pearson. Out around the 26. And here we go with the... You want to know what team is likely, analytically, to win the American? Right now it's the Mean Green in North Texas.
Yeah, North Texas put up big numbers. We talked about it against Charlotte. Last time out for Charlotte. And then South Florida, that's a football team. Remember, they've got a win under their belt against the SEC in Florida on that schedule as well. Tulane, we saw get a big road win at Memphis last night. So going to be very interesting to watch. ECU has to just win out to get to the conference championship game. Maybe need a little bit of help because they don't have the tiebreaker against Tulane, but South Florida, North Texas, obviously in pole position. Those two teams have been playing really, really good football. As it looks like, I think that's Jordy Lowry, number 15, who's hurt from the special teams play there. Over near his own sideline.
I think it's Jaron Waiters.
Jaron
right
Waiters, actually the receiver.
Teams.
Check that. Yeah, they have two 15s. You have Waiters and Lowry. This is going to be Waiters, I believe. Plays on special teams and trying to get in there and throw a block and perhaps took a little bit of a shot.
So just in the field of play off of the ECU sideline. There's the shot.
See Coach Blake Harrell obviously clearly concerned there on the left-hand side of your screen. Just took his headset off.
Yeah, Waiters, he's a redshirt freshman out of Florence, South Carolina. We'll check in on Jaron Waiters when we come back. Here's a look back on that kickoff return. Number 15 for ECU, Jaron Waiters, gets hit by Breon Noel of Charlotte. Goes down hard. The good news is after that hit, the medical staff was attending to him for a couple of minutes. He did walk off mostly under his own power, clearly dazed. And right now he's in the medical tent on the ECU sideline. We'll endeavor to get you an update if we can. So the drive for the Pirates up by 16 now as Charlotte has gnawed into the deficit. Into the outer periphery of the game. This drive begins the 25-yard line for ECU. And back to work is Caden Hauser, slings it to the left side. And maybe 4 yards on that first down reception. Anthony Smith with another catch.
I'm not sure he brought that ball all the way in order. Maybe that was a late fumble there. But Smith had to kind of collect the football before he got up there.
Stack a couple of receivers to the left. That's where they go. Spalding, too much room on that tightrope sideline out to about the 33, a couple of yards short for the Pirates.
Nice play that time. Spalding just makes a quick catch and gets up the field, and now they're in a 3rd and 2 situation with this tempo.
Montgomery in the backfield for the Pirates. A little flinch on that D-line on the hard count by Hauser, but this time the 49ers didn't bite. Penalty plagued in the first half, to say the least. Montgomery squeezes through, gets away, takes a hit, and is brought down around the 45. That is the hardest run we've seen by anybody in this game.
Yeah, it was a really nice cut. As he started to get to the outside, there was a defender there playing on the edge, and he was able to cut back up inside and beat him and get more positive yards and pick up that first down.
Now as Charlotte has gotten back into the game, ECU has kind of gone away from their big tempo. A deep shot. Marker comes in from the opposite side of the field. Pass was overthrown, incomplete. But this looks to be going on the 49ers.
That's actually a really, really good call by the field judge. Most people would say he's on the other side of the field. He had a better vantage point to see the jersey grab and made the call right away and showed off his arm as well. We might need to get him playing quarterback.
Defense, number 0. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It's Randy Franklin. Spent a couple years at the Naval Academy before he came to now play with his brother in the same defensive backfield for the 49ers.
Yeah, and you can see it right there. Right away, he just grabbed him. He realized he was going to run by him, so he reached out and grabbed him to try to keep him from having a walk-in touchdown, and they caught him.
So first down for the Pirates at the 49er 41-yard line.
Showing man coverage, maybe single high safety look. Now they're dancing around back there. They're going to come with some pressure.
And the handoff, and again Montgomery narrowly gets through a high hurdle and an undercut, flipped high into the air and down around the 23. At the apex, he's about 8 or 9 feet off of the ground.
This is great execution. They run to the left, opposite of the blitz, and then Montgomery showing the leaping ability going over the top of Clinkscales.
Redirection up the middle, and a heavy hit brings him down around the 10-yard line. And Montgomery showing off his skill set. First down for the Pirates.
This offensive line is showing out and showing off their ability to move people out of the way. Back-to-back plays where they did a really nice job at the line of scrimmage to create a crease for London Montgomery.
Are they going to keep hammering away with number 7? No, the keep by Hauser. Hauser makes a move, heads to the end zone, unimpeded. Touchdown Pirates. The decoy that time was Montgomery, and Caden Hauser extends the lead to a comfortable margin for ECU.
This is important because they're responding to Charlotte fighting back into this ball game. Something Coach Blake Harrell talked about. He didn't like the way they finished that first half. He's got to like the way they finished that drive. He wants them to always have their foot on the gas and stay aggressive and put teams away.
The extra point driven through by Maisie. There is the reply by the Pirates, the battering ram of London Montgomery to set it up, and then the payoff on the 11-yard keeper by Hauser.
Yeah, Colin Gill came flying in off the edge, number 3, and he took the back. The problem is there's nobody on the edge to have his back as that edge player to keep Caden Hauser from turning the corner. Hauser, walk-in touchdown. Well executed by Caden Hauser. Great job reading it properly, understanding where that defender was coming from, pulls the football out. All of a sudden, the defender runs right past him. He's in the end zone. J.D. Baker has been masterful with his play calling throughout much of this football game.
ECU 70 rush yards in the first half, 64 already in the third, with more on the running game downstairs to Savannah.
Yeah, it's something that's developed over the course of the season. At the beginning, there were things that they weren't doing like they should coming off the ball. The running backs weren't hitting it, protect the passers and throw the ball, so people were stacking the box. But they have been better in all phases, in particular protecting Caden and getting the ball down the field.
Yeah, and Savannah makes a great point with this running game too. And I think the biggest thing for me when I watch this team and the way they've been able to run the football these past few weeks in particular, but really throughout the season, is J.D. Baker continuing to evolve as a play caller, as an offensive coordinator. Sometimes we can get into or see coordinators just want to run what they want to run or just want to throw the football, but he's going to maximize whatever the defense gives him, and he's going to keep taking it, and then when you change and try to take that away, he's going to make you pay with something else. Such a good offensive coordinator, great play caller, spent some time under Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, one of the best, I think, in the business.
Oh, big pressure by ECU. As Chance Graves comes flying from the backside and absolutely punished Grayson Loftus.
Yeah, just a blindside pressure. You got a tight formation, so you got a corner fire, right? A slot or an edge corner fire there. And he just works right inside, flies up the field, and Grayson Loftus never saw him, and he makes that play. And they're in a similar formation. You see Sean Brown at the bottom of the screen. See, that's a tight split there for the wide receiver. Makes it easier for some of those corner fires in that situation.
And now a run play on 2nd and 17 going nowhere for the 49ers.
And corner fire means the corner is the one blitzing off the edge. He's the fire guy. And right there, well executed a couple of snaps ago by Chance Graves.
Raheem Creek has had some celebration fire after that stop on the field. 3rd down.
Chance Graves out of Eastern View High School in Pepper, Virginia. That's in that area between sort of Washington, D.C. and Richmond.
Niners need the 35-yard line on 3rd down. ECU rushes only 3. Loftus with the outlet to the right side, Young. And Young doesn't even get to the original line marker. It'll be 4th and about 12 for the 49ers.
This ECU defense, so we haven't talked about this a lot tonight. We've talked about their strength and their ability at the line of scrimmage. What we haven't talked about is how fast they are. Once the football goes in the air, they really can get to the football in a hurry, and they all show up in a bad mood. As you see defensive coordinator Coach Aldridge up there in that booth. He's got his water, he's got his headset, and he's got a play sheet that says dominate, and they've done a nice job so far in this game.
Bronson Long nearly had that blocked. He got tipped, though, and will flutter out to about the 40-yard line. And ECU is going to have exemplary field position. Tipped on that punt drive, blocked partially. And this drive for the Pirates will start at the 42-yard line.
See it coming off that left side, and it is, that's about as close as it can get. And look, we talked about coming into this game, as you see there. Oh, that's just, how about our crew getting the angles that we need there? But one of the things we talked about coming into this game was whether or not, Charlotte could get something in the special teams game. For the most part, ECU has done a really good job in special teams against the Charlotte group that's amongst the best in the country in the 4 major special teams categories.
4th carry of the game for Gunn. That's what ECU did on its last drive on the ground, 52 yards. So after Charlotte got to within 16 with a touchdown and 2, ECU marched right down the field, primarily on the back of Montgomery. Then they nearly block a punt. The defense comes up, and this drive begins plus territory for the Pirates. 2nd and 10. Gunn driving ahead, carrying about 6 gold jerseyed 49ers down to the 35-yard line.
The other thing I like about what I'm seeing from ECU in this ballgame, they're a tempo team. And oftentimes you see teams that are tempo teams, if they have to kind of slow it down just a little bit, they get a little choppy and they're not as smooth and efficient. This has the down-tempo nature at times for ECU has not affected them at all. They've still been really efficient even when they go down-tempo.
3rd and 3. Hauser sprints to the right, throws downfield. That caught an arm, kind of an unwitting arm of a Charlotte defender. It was off of Jalen Johnson's arm. Johnson had his back turned to play, looking for Yannick Smith. It's 4 down. Might be Shipman instead. So 4th down. Offense stays on the field for ECU. Pirates need 3. Plenty of time on the play clock for the Pirates, down to 9.
They may try to draw him here.
Gunn deployed out, quick pass over the middle, bobbled and dropped by Spalding. Would have been 1st down and more. That might have been in the house. But the Pirates flip it over to the 49ers on downs.
There you see J.D. Baker, and he knows. We had what we needed. We got what we wanted. We just got to execute. And this is one of the things that Coach Blake Harrell talked about as well. Like, finishing games is about always executing every opportunity. Right here, Spalding that's just a drop. It's that simple, and that's very uncharacteristic of Brock Spalding. And you see Coach J.D. Baker, he knows they had one there, and they should have converted.
And they're going to coach those. You see the reaction right there by J.D. because those are plays you need to execute when you get down to the final couple of weeks, and if ECU gets to the American Championship game. The 49ers on the turnover on downs. That's about the 40-yard line. Sean Brown continues his career day.
And the other thing is, even though you're up 23, right, and chances are you're going to win this football game, that's a coaching point, right? The drop is something else to coach.
And there have been ample coaching points on a few drops today for the Pirates, despite what they've done offensively. Spinning to about the 40-yard line. Smith. 3rd and 4. Closing in on 2 minutes for the 3rd quarter. This game didn't really have the feel, Reggie, becoming competitive in the second half, but it has, or at least it did for a bit. Let's see if there's a counter here from the 49ers.
Yeah, critical stretch here, these next 4 minutes or so for Charlotte, if they can get back into this one or not.
3rd and 4. Loftus into traffic, makes a terrific throw, and that's enough for the 1st down. E.J. Mason, the Samford University transfer.
This is the type of throw that, honestly, as good as it is, it's what frustrates you at times about Grayson Loftus, because you see that kind of throw and then you go, well, what's the issue in other situations? And it's him finding the consistency of being able to rip that ball into those kind of windows. That's the arm strength. That's the anticipation right there.
Niners are now just 3 of 10 on 3rd down, but a big conversion for Loftus and Charlotte. Repelling ground, throws it down the left side, nobody home. Looking again for Brown, but Brown kind of broke off the routes. 2nd down.
Yeah, Key Crowell was locked up with Sean Brown there and didn't let him. Sean Brown they were a little hand fighting. That happens. Corners and receivers. It's part of the game.
And Brown is making the big target. 7 catches, 119 yards. Career day, and he still has 15 minutes and change left. To the left side, this is E.J. Mason, stumbled a bit, spins away, and is down about the 45. He'll get 8. So 3rd and short, and this is where the 49ers need to be to move this drive down the field to try and climb back into this one.
Yeah, they really struggled on 1st down for the most part throughout this game, but not for nothing. Like, they're continuing to fight. at times making plays. Grayson Loftus just has to be more consistent, and he might get a free one here. Blake Harrell calls a timeout, late substitution. I don't know if Grayson Loftus caught it or not, but he had a chance. If he snaps that ball quicker, he's going to get ECU with 12 men on the field. He does not. Blake Harrell runs down there and gets the timeout in time to beat the late substitution. Watch it again. And it looks like it's number 22, Jonathan Jean. He's trying to get off the field out of that nickel spot. He's very late. Blake Harrell runs over and gets the timeout. Now, it's obviously, one of the things that you see certain personnel groups, you want to get guys in certain situations, that time a little late making that decision, and it costs the Pirates a timeout.
So out of the timeout, 3rd down and 1 coming up here for the 49ers. ECU. Pirates ran out to a 28-0 lead 3 minutes into the second quarter, but credit to Tim Albin's 49ers. They didn't pack up and lead. They've battled back, capitalized, and now it is 3rd and 1 in Pirate territory with Cobb in the backfield, and Loftus striving ahead. He didn't get enough, and the 49ers are going to face a critical 4th down to try and stay in this game.
Trying to spin his way into that 1st down. I think if I'm Tim Albin here with 20 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, I'm making the decision during the quarter break. There's no way I snap the football here before the quarter ends.
Yeah, they don't need to. Play clock shows 18. Game clock is down to 12. Will they snap it or will they huddle? They're going for it on 4th down before the quarter ends. Loftus in a key spot, pressured, and throws it away, incomplete. And at the end of the 3rd quarter, the Niners seemed a bit rushed. And turn it over on downs as the 3rd quarter ended instead of taking a couple minutes to really make sure he had the right personnel and the play call. So ECU, the defense stands tall. They will carry a 23-point lead to the 4th quarter. Final 15 minutes from Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium, Greenville, North Carolina. Beautiful night, beautiful day for the Pirates. Up 45-22 on the Charlotte 49ers. A little bit later in this fourth quarter, we'll take a look at what ECU has left on its schedule. The big game, though, coming up next week against the Memphis Tigers, who were knocked off by Tulane last night. But the Pirates taking care of business. They take over on downs. And a first down carry of about 4. Really wondering, though, about Charlotte maybe not taking enough time. They could have had 3 minutes or so to really kind of churn through the permutations of that fourth down play call. I don't know if they were rushed, but they decided to go for it before the clock ran out. And ECU takes over, and a big run by Engelman for a first down for the Pirates.
How about the physicality of this running back room? London Montgomery, the 200-pounders, kind of your main guy, right? Slashing through people. Then you go to Engelman, who's 190 pounds. You mix in there Marlon Gunn Jr., who's 215 pounds. And we haven't even seen Parker Jenkins yet.
Yes. Hauser. Deep ball, near corner of the end zone, twisting back, and just coming up short is Anthony Smith.
If Anthony Smith makes that catch, I probably just walk out of this booth and walk back home.
That was a
that would have
dart
been
of a
ridiculous. Watch the body control. Watch him read this. He gets his hands on it. He's just a hair late getting his hands up. If he gets his hands up maybe a quarter second sooner, he's probably able to bring that in.
2nd and 10. On the right side for a couple of yards. We've seen some athletes on this field today. The catches we've seen from Nicholas, the one we saw back at the end zone from Sean Brown.
Absolutely.
And the terrific effort we've seen so far tonight by Anthony Smith.
I guarantee you Anthony Smith's still frustrated himself for the one he dropped in the first half.
Yeah.
He'll probably never forget that.
I mean, I'm still looking at the numbers of Hauser through 3 quarters, 224. It feels like he's throwing for 400 tonight.
Yeah, it really does. And the other piece of that is this offense has been on the field so long for a group that generally scores really fast. How about J.Q. Conley with the nice one-on-one coverage against Asirio Rouse there, the tight end, to keep that from being a completion. Caden Hauser did a nice job negotiating some pressure, negotiating a defender in the pocket, steps up, makes a throw, but Conley's there to knock it away.
And now instead of the Pirates aiming for a 49-yard field goal, they will eschew that. Now I take it back. They are going to try and kick from 50 here. And we'll see Nick Mazie. As long as this year is 46, he made from 40 earlier tonight. Center of the field, clean snap. And Mazie will thread it through from 50.
I think that would have been good from 55.
Second of the game for Mazie. He needed to keep this one low to get the distance through. He knew it, and he got it. Pirates up 26. Good time tonight, and the night is young in Greenville, 6 o'clock Eastern time. 48-22 Pirates lead. Maisley just knocked home a 50-yard field goal, 2 yards short of his career high. You know, he watched some Ivy League football last night. He had a 52-yarder against Harvard when he was at UNH.
Harvard was up big last night, had a strong victory at Columbia in New York last night.
And this one will sail into the end zone, no touch for Ely. Let's go downstairs to Savannah.
The defensive coordinator, Josh Aldridge, told us that when you're winning, it really gives you the opportunity to coach kids harder, maybe than you normally would. You can point out mistakes, hold them really accountable. When you're losing, you kind of fall into that mentality of, well, we can't let a game beat us twice. But success as a team allows the defense to correct things harshly with intent, and they can take it the right way. And man, whatever they said in the halftime break, they have implemented coming into the third quarter, heading into the fourth.
Look at those numbers, 2 rush yards this entire game for the 49ers. Nicholas in motion, a couple of touchdown receptions, pressure coming. Loftus in chase mode, escapes, slides forward. He's out past the 30, and he was kind of giving himself up, but the hard tackle came in from the side. No penalty marker down.
I know I said this in the first half. Somebody's going to have to get Zion Wilson under control if you're Charlotte in that offensive line, if you want to have a chance to continue to have success offensively. That guy has been living in the 49ers backfield throughout this football game. Number 54 in purple has been a dominant football player at the line of scrimmage in this game.
Rushing 4, Loftus a little bit of time, but Happy Feet does thread the pass across beyond the 40-yard line. Jake Young, spent a couple of years at Western Carolina. Look how close Danke is to deflecting this pass on the way through. Watch number 7 in the middle. Inches.
I think he might have gotten a piece of it, actually. Grayson Loftus put enough smoke on that thing to throw it through there.
Well, that's a great look from the end zone camera. Great work, guys. First down, 49ers. Nearing 12 minutes to play in regulation. Again, Loftus under pressure, and down he goes. Spun down back outside the 40, and there is your man, Zion Wilson, harassing and getting a sack. 7th tackle for loss in the game for the Pirates.
Yeah, Belhaven, North Carolina's own 315-plus pounder. He just works right up the field and creates havoc. Look at him there. The change of direction by the big guy.
Now, ECU fans may know this. College football fans writ large may not. Second down at about 13 here for the 49ers. That 7 tackles for loss. ECU is 3rd in the country in that category. They set up a screen. Cobb hemmed in.
Yeah, J.D. Lampley is having absolutely none of that. Great job by Lampley, number 9. They're on defense, all 270, 275 pounds, working down the line of scrimmage flat and understanding what's happening in front of him. Just works down the line of scrimmage, follows the movement, follows the flow of the offensive line, and makes the play on the catch.
Lampley's dad, Danny, played professional baseball in the Red Sox organization for about 3 years. He was a brief teammate with Brett Saberhagen on a rehab. Pressure up the middle. Escaping is Loftus. And tracked down from behind, and down he goes.
Jackson Barker, number 1, the linebacker. He's made his hay really for this team in special teams much of this season. But check this out. Where did he go to high school? Fuquay-Varina. Where did Blake Harrell start his coaching career? Fuquay-Varina.
Well,
there you go.
But he got there. Yes.
Yeah, he got there eventually. Right, there you go. Great job by Barker there, chasing down Loftus. They miss him initially, but they get him eventually.
4th down, punt team on. Not as much pressure this time by the Pirates. And this is going to check up around the 30-yard line. 10 minutes and change left in the 4th quarter. 48-22. ECU on its way to an expected win and a showdown next week with Memphis. First-year head coach Blake Harrell of the ECU Pirates. He's about to take his squad to 6-3, 4-1 in the American. And there's the new quarterback for ECU, probably the true freshman, Justin Ditta, out of Austin, Texas.
Lake Travis High School.
That's right.
They don't do anything there but breed quarterbacks and win football games.
And Ditto, first down handoff for a couple of yards. Parker Jenkins with his first appearance in the game. Get back to Ditta's high school. Baker Mayfield, among others, out of Lake Travis High School, broke in with the Browns, Tampa Bay. As a matter of fact, the high school, Lake Travis, won 5 consecutive state championships down in Texas. Mayfield won the 5th and final. And Ditta getting some reps here, a little bit too far ahead of Tyler Johnson.
So what you're saying is Lake Travis High School is a factory.
It's a factory. It's like Miami of Ohio, cradle of coaches. We're talking about Blake Harrell. Where did he start his coaching career? His second year was at Fuquay Arena. His first year was at McDowell High School, and he coached at his alma mater, Franklin High, for a couple of years before going to Lenore Ryan as an assistant. Funny anecdote that Blake shared with us a couple of days ago is Ditta back to throw on third down. He'll be swarmed and taken down. He actually interviewed for a high school job at Anka High School, didn't get it. And he thought after his second year at Lenore Ryan, this was it, because they had 2 really bad years. The staff felt a lot of heat. His mom ran a gas station. His grandma owned a huddle house, and he really thought his goal was going to be a high school head coach and then maybe mowing lawns on the side.
Speaking of that, look at Jalar Holly. Look at big number 97, Jalar Holly. Still in there, scrapping, fighting for his football team. Gets the sack that time.
Yeah, good thing for Holly. We'll run to him in a second. EC will punt it away. And fair call to the 35. Holly just became a dad about 3 weeks ago. There he is, the new father. A young daughter 3 weeks into her life. ECU up 48-22. There's a look at the time at ECU for Blake Harrell, interim head coach, after, ironically, a loss against Charlotte. Almost a year to the day. Went 5 of 6 to close out the year. And named the full-time head coach. And there's a look at what he's done through his first 14 games. He's 10-4. John Christenberry was 11-3 in his 14. That's rare company. And the runway is long and bright right now for the Pirates, taking care of business tonight against Charlotte. Brand new quarterback is in for the Charlotte 49ers. We'll get our first look at Zach Wilkie. Spent a couple of years in Hattiesburg and Southern Miss. Transferred in from a junior college, one of 3 brand new quarterbacks in this 49er program.
Wilkie is a little bit more of a runner comparative to Grayson Loftus. A little more athletic, a little more shifty. So something a little bit different for your game plan when he's in there.
Look at Wilkie's numbers. 242. He's played in 3 games. Started once against Army, and then a return back to Loftus. First down, swings it out to the right side, and that is Cobb making the reception out of the backfield. And spun into Pirate territory.
I think for a guy like Jerry Cobb, right, it's as a freshman in this program, he's out of Roseville, or Reidsville, I should say, North Carolina. He's one of those guys, right? The young guys, give them opportunities, let them continue to develop by getting more and more snaps. And this is an example. That's why he's in the football game right now.
Yeah, Cameron Smith replaces him in the backfield. It will be Smith on the carry. Darts left, bounces even wider, gets away, and he takes it inside the 40-yard line. Nice run by Cameron Smith. And it's been kind of a revolving door for the running backs for Charlotte over the last few weeks. A lot of ball security issues from Gainey to Cobb to Smith and others. And now Wilkie facing pressure, a little jump throw. Just had to release it before he took a sack. Pressure again by ECU. Pirates flashed in Tavius Horn, freshman out of Fort Lauderdale. We're beginning to go now deeper into the depth chart for the ECU defense. Midway through this 4th quarter, a 26-point game.
You got to be careful with the football there. Number 13, Hayden Duncanson. He almost had a room service pick 6 there.
Looking right, Wilkie. Improvising, chased, and that's through the fingertips and out of bounds on the right sideline, looking for Derek Ely.
I'll tell you what, Wilkie, better get rid of that football. You got big number 44, Preston Carr, breathing down your neck. Better get rid of that football. You see big number 44 out of Timberlake, North Carolina.
I love his story. Walked on, didn't play really at all his first couple of years. Only a handful of snaps last year. Now a regular number 2 on this ECU defense here in his final year. Bouncing to the left side again. And Smith takes it close to the 30-yard line.
On a good ECU defense at that. Another interesting aspect, we talked about it earlier. This is an ECU defense, but that because of their efficiency, just about 65 snaps a game. That was the 58th snap they've been on the field in this game. So right near that average number, with a chance to maybe get below that if they can really shut some things down here.
4 yards to get on 4th down for the Niners. Pass into traffic, tipped and nearly picked off. Diving after it, coming up a little bit short. The tip was by Graves, who's had a really good second half defensively for the Pirates. And the Niners again turn it over on downs.
That's a great job by Graves, just reading this football, and he just sinks, right? He just continues to drift because he's waiting for something to come back across his zone. And when that ball goes up, he goes up to try to get it and nearly brought that one down for an interception.
So now ECU back on offense. 6:20 to play, 4th quarter. And we'll see Dida for his 2nd rotation on the offensive side for the Pirates. And likely we'll see it all on the ground here as It's Parker Jenkins to the outside for a couple.
Yeah, they just got to remind Parker Jenkins, don't go out of bounds.
Yeah. Couple for Jenkins. There's Tim Albin. He's out of Woodward, Oklahoma. Population 13,000. Biggest town, though, in a 9-county radius. He said, I learned how to ride horses before I learned how to ride a bike growing up. This one's batted down at the line of scrimmage. Brings up 3rd and 8.
See J.D. Baker, obviously freshman quarterback in there, and did a nice job getting that hand up that time for Charlotte. But these are valuable snaps, valuable reps for Ditta in this football game.
On 3rd and 8, they keep it on the ground. There, the Pirates are now going to boot it away with about 5.5 minutes to go. Well, let's get kind of your overall analysis of, you know, the week the Pirates had off the big road win at Temple. Had to generate a lot of kind of self-driven energy to get through that contest last week, and dealing with the Charlotte team with nothing to lose at a bye week, plenty of time to prep. How'd they look today?
I think the biggest key was they came out early, and basically the mindset was leave no doubt early. You know, if you take away the rest of this game and you just take, for ECU, and you take the first quarter, it'd be a 22-21 football game. I mean, they were absolutely dominant in that first quarter, 21-0. Didn't give up any yardage rushing the football either. Really, really good start to this game.
The American on ESPN Plus is home to 40-plus college football games, over 1,000 exclusive live events at every American Conference Championship throughout the season. For more info and to sign up, visit stream.espn.com. And the excitement in the American only ratchets up over the final 3 weeks of the regular season.
Oh, I guarantee the person that loves this the most, Commissioner Tim Pernetti. He loves this. He played college football. He understands the game. He loves what he's seeing out of his conference right now. And I got to think that they're going to end up with a playoff spot.
I was just going to ask you that question.
Yeah, well, listen, here's the thing. Is JMU in the mix? Absolutely out of the Sun Belt. The difference is when you look at the Sun Belt and then you look at the American, look at all these teams out of the American entering today that are in the mix for this. And if it weren't for last night, right, with the Tulane-Memphis situation, if you do this going into last night, San Diego State's not even on the screen, and JMU's number's even lower.
Yeah, and Memphis is in there.
Absolutely correct. So this league has a chance to do something really special, and the question's going to be, right, what kind of a draw do they get? Who do they get potentially in that first round of the college football playoff? Likely, obviously those teams that get those road games. The positive is this, or the home games, I should say. The positive is this. If you're an American team that has to go on the road in the playoffs, the main thing you're telling your team is everybody that got a bye last year, or got a bye last year, lost. Mm-hmm. So just go win on the road and see what happens.
3rd and 1. Clock at 3:40. And the keeper by Wilkie. He'll have the first down and moved out to the 44-yard line. All right, so ECU has left Memphis here next week, and then 2 road games, UTSA and then Florida Atlantic, and then that's it for the Pirates.
Florida Atlantic's had its issues this year. UTSA has kind of been up and down, right? And that's the thing. UTSA, I'll actually have a chance to see UTSA next week against Charlotte, so we'll see what they look like in person. But they're kind of up and down, but that's a physical football team with Coach Traylor and what they do. So if you're ECU, you're going to be in for a dogfight in that one for sure. But you got to get past Memphis first to make that one even matter.
Wilkie off target there, looking for Miles Burris. 3 minutes left in the 4th quarter.
And look, that game next week, Memphis and ECU, it's essentially a playoff game for both teams. Neither team can afford another loss, whether conference play or overall, if they want to get in the mix to get in the college football playoff.
So you even think with the Memphis loss last night, they still could sneak in?
They could, well, if they end up winning the American, now they're going to need a ton of help to do that.
Get to the conference championship.
But that's what they would have to do, and right now, it's still a possibility. So you would say they're still in the mix somewhat.
2nd and 10. And that's Cobb.
Ball's on the ground.
Ball comes loose. Whistles were down, though. And it will be a fumble recovered by ECU's Jackson Barker. Well, Barker's had a whale of 4th quarter.
Jerry Cobb puts the ball on the ground, and that's been at times a major issue for these Charlotte running backs, putting the football on the ground. Cobb just kind of sticks his head in there, and he's trying to back his way into some extra yards. And I believe ripping the ball out of there, I think that was Kieran Davis, number 35, that was able to rip that ball out of there, and Jackson Barker came out with it.
There's a ton of pride on this ECU defense, even when it comes down to, I don't want to use the phrase garbage time, but when it's a lopsided game and you have maybe the 2s and 3s on the field instead, they still don't want anybody to give up points. We saw that at Temple last week. We're seeing it again. I mean, the energy off that ECU sideline when they force that fumble, they don't want to see Charlotte put any more points up.
Well, the added piece of it, right, Coach Blake Harrell, I should say. I was about to combine his name with Coach J.D. Baker, right? Coach Blake Harrell is about finishing. He wants his guys to be on point with their execution from snap 1 until 000s are on the clock at the end of the 4th quarter. And that is the mark that they're trying to achieve, and that was an example right there, ripping that football out as we head to the 2-minute timeout.
Really nice run there by Parker Jenkins, the Houston Cougars transfer. And we come down to the 2-minute timeout in regulation. The Pirates are on the way. They're going to stay in that group of 5 with 1 loss in the American. Handily up on Charlotte. We're back to close it out when we come back. Final 2 minutes of the 4th quarter back at Dowdy Fickman, where a crowd of around 40,000 earlier today saw the Pirates jump out to a 28-0 lead early stages of the 2nd quarter, taking care of the business at hand. And now now setting up next week's tilt right here with the Memphis Tigers as ECU's next game of the year. 48-22 Pirates. And Ditta fighting through and talking about the 20-yard line. Now the Pirates really right now at this stage don't necessarily have to run any more plays. They can just snap and kneel if they wanted to. We'll see what the Pirates do as far as Ditta's development. As we wind down here at Dowdy-Ficklen, great to be back in Greenville. It's been an outstanding last couple of days. First up, I don't get a chance to share a broadcast booth with a major leaguer, but I have tonight. Scott Pose has been my spotter all day, the former Yankee. First batter in Florida Marlins history. He's been my spotter, thanks to him. Nick Grizzard, our stats guy. And now the victory formation for the Pirates as we close in on the final minute 20. Adam Coppinger, our producer. Greg Ambrose, our director. You, Reggie, Savannah down in the field. By the way, for Greg Ambrose, who is our director today, he's been with Tupelo for 10 years. Today, this is his final minute as a director with Tupelo. He's going on and hooking up with ESPN on a full-time basis. So Adam and the entire crew wanted to thank you for all of your great work and congratulate you and best of luck. I'm sure we'll all run across you again very soon. Great crew. Camera guys been terrific today. Both SIDs been awesome. The coaches with whom we spoke, both coordinators on both teams, the two head coaches earlier in the week, they have been fantastic. It's what a privilege to be here tonight as ECU will take the final snap and move now to 4-1 in the American to set up their big tilt next week.
Bunch of credit to that guy right there. They're bowl eligible for the fourth time in 5 seasons here at ECU. I was here last year for his first game as the interim head coach against Temple, and his energy, you could tell, was going to have an impact on this program in a positive way moving forward, and he's done nothing but have success now, 11-4 in his first 15 games. A huge credit to Coach Blake Harrell for what he's done with this program over the last year at the helm of it.
Yeah, they're bowl eligible now for the 4th time in 5 years, and Savannah is with ECU head coach Blake Harrell.
Coach, in a very different circumstance, last time you saw Charlotte last year, how good does it feel to put a W in the column against this cross-state team?
No question. We played them 2 times before, and we're 0-2 against them, and we talked all week long. We're just a different ECU team right now. And, it's still sloppy, more sloppy than I'd like, but at the end of the day, we got the win number 6, and bowl eligibility.
I know you take it one day at a time, but as you're looking ahead with 1 loss in the American, rolling into Memphis next week, things you can learn from today and implement this next week.
Yeah, 1 day at a time, 1 play at a time, and focus on the process throughout. And obviously, we're going to enjoy this one tonight, but next up is Memphis, and we got to make sure we're ready to play next Saturday.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Coach. Thank you, Savannah. Reg, let's get your final runway takeaway on the ECU Pirate win today.
The ECU Pirates, I think if you look at them defensively, in particular at the line of scrimmage, clearly amongst the best in this conference and somebody that's going to be a force to be reckoned with down the stretch.
All right, so for Reggie, Savannah, for Adam, Greg, Scott, and everyone here, Patrick Enos from ECU, happy homecoming for the Pirates. They move to 4-1 in the American Big Contest next Saturday with Memphis. 48-22 Pirates over Charlotte. Good night, Greenville.